Is it audible? Okay. Happy Makar Sankranti to all of you. I hope for all of us by the end of the day. Ritesh, you might take over. Okay, we don't want to waste a lot of time because we have a long way. And yesterday at my new Bihar, we could not complete the session. And since we have outstation teachers, we want to accomplish this in-house. Because many people are to carry forward work right, but still, we want that the session begins and whatever questions you have, you finish it earlier and nip it in the bud as early as possible. Right? So we have a thing that we begin very quickly. So we will, Chief Manager is going to begin the session. ट्रैक करके नीचे कर शुरू Good morning, everyone. Everyone is ready. You had your tea, coffee, and refreshment. Okay. So, very good morning to everyone. So we are going to talk about effective lesson planning. In fact, we have been having certain meetings in the previous weeks as well. And this session is actually a continuation of what we have been discussing in the previous meetings which we had conducted. But since it is part of PDP, I would like to take this opportunity अभी लोग क्या जा रहे हैं ना फोटो के सब रिकॉर्ड So I would like to take this opportunity. Why is it like
Hello. So I would like to take this opportunity to give our gratitude to respected chairperson ma'am and founder president sir. With their blessings, we would like to begin this session. We also would like to give thanks to our mentors, Mrs. Mohina Darna, she is Director, Academics, and Anita Sethyana. She has been instrumental for organizing these professional development programs. So, with their blessings and with their insights, we are here to take on the session. Today, basically, as I said, it is just an extension to the planning is something which is very, very important. When you take or whenever you are going to your classes, planning is one very important aspect because without effective planning, your instructions are not that effective as you really want them to be in the classroom. So we've been discussing quite often about some of the parameters which you need to look into while you're planning your lessons. Couple of them are there. Just you can take out to the so this slide you can read. This is the session outcome which we'll be talking about today. So it's just translating the planning to your classroom discourse. Okay, so that is what is our session outcome. Next slide. We will be quickly giving you a brief. I'll request Neeta ma'am to begin with, and then wherever required, I will be pitching it. So we'll be giving you a quick brief of what has been discussed in the previous meeting, so that all those, the teachers who are joining in from other branches across outside Delhi NCR, they were not part of the meeting. So just to align you, what has been discussed. Here are the pointers which we will quickly cover, followed by there were few lesson plans which we have selected, and to the teams we have already had some discussions. They will be presenting here. There are reflection prompts which are there on your tables. After the presentation of lessons, you will have to, based on whichever class you are addressing to. So if you are a nursery teacher, whenever nursery teacher is presenting, whenever nursery group is presenting, you will have to see the lesson in execution very carefully, reflect on those prompts in a group. So whichever group you are seated in, look into the prompts. We've given you the prompts so that you know what you have to look into, where you have to, and what all you need to reflect on. So the prompts are there on your table, so you're reflecting on those prompts. Okay? Is it clear? The process is clear. And if time permits, then we may take you through some more examples which are very relevant for classroom. Okay, so that is again conditional if time permits.
Very ambitious on our part.
Yeah. So to begin with, let's
Okay.
Previous slide. Previous.
So, am I audible? Yes. Okay. So, we worked since everybody has seen the format of the lesson plan, right? We've understood what is recap class. Very quickly, we need to put everything, whatever content in bullets. Those bullets have to be planned. Whatever is being put in bullets, that has to be planned. I'm addressing you because the others already know, and the online team of teachers who are there listening to me. Then they have to be planned for sure in the weekly content, right? So when you're putting them in bullets, you have to be very sure. Now something that is, because we've given you a detailed lesson syllabus also that goes with it, you don't have to do cut and paste. Okay, so you have to put them in points. And then whatever ongoing content, if you don't want to plan for the week, you do not put them. Right? And you did not put the subheads. Like if you see estimation and measurement, you need not put the subheads. Just put them in points even in maths so that we understand what has to be done. Right? Everybody knows because everybody has their detailed syllabus, they know the subtopics. Right? This is just for our convenience, and Even for the heads that are sitting, they know what all to check and what all you have planned and how. Okay, concept should guys, previous slide. Concept should be logically sequent. That means yes. So when we are looking at a lesson plan, we always see that the concept की clarity. We will do that once we see the lesson execution. We will tell you what we mean by that. Okay, it will come, we will make you discover it. Okay. Most of you are doing, but sometimes when during our lesson plan, we see that the concepts are not logically sequenced. So what we mean by that, we will see through the presentations. Then purposeful and realistic planning, what do I mean by that? Means you have to always keep your instructional time in mind before planning. So be very, very realistic about it. Let's not plan too much and have little content.
Less also.
And let's not plan too less also. They go both ways. Yeah. I mentioned only targeted learning outcomes. Now, you have lots of subsidiary learning outcomes. Like if you're doing a language, you say language development, and then you say targeted development. All that is not required. What is the purpose? The comprehension was the purpose. Then you keep trying only the targeted learning outcomes. Whatever you have planned in your bullets and whatever the activities are taken and whatever the activities learning outcome is, that will be seen. Okay. Then when we talk about IIPs now, see IIPs with pre-primary is very important. Okay, and in our previous meeting we have already shared the value. Why is it important? So anyone from this table can tell us why IIP is important. चलो चलो बता दो हमें पता होना चाहिए for children why is it why free play
all right, free play is very important for their individual growth and to break the ice. And for us also to see their potential. Suppose we give them blocks to play, and sometimes they're so creative. So what they think is beyond even our imagination. So it really helps us also to check each child's potential.
Anybody else would like to add? Okay, they curiosity, explore. Anybody else? How do they feel?
Yes, that's very good.
Very important. They get choice. How do they feel? How do citizens feel? If you are imagining yourself as children, if you are allowed to go to any corner, make a choice, and do any kind of thing, how do you feel?
Happy, excited, confident.
Okay, so this is the main reason, right? For me, first, as a teacher, it is very important that the child feels happy coming to school. That's the first entry level. We do so many things. We do a high five, how it's all for an emotional connect, right? The first, the child needs to be connected to his space. Connected. So when the child gets everybody's answered correctly, when they get choices, they feel they can do what they want, and the school becomes a happy place. How IIT needs to be said is something we would ask expecting the expectations when they plan their lesson plans. We will see how. So now what is happening is when we have the IIPs, because we are expecting them free play, that means we are not expecting them any concept that you would be telling. It's an unguided play. Means probably you as a teacher have lots to do separately time. तो सबके अलग-अलग time होते हैं nursery KG में तो 5-10 मिनट. So morning routines में वो अपने आप आ रहा है. By the time you are doing your attendance, you're preparing your class, opening your slides, doing up your boards. Okay. In the meantime, but understanding all this would come through routines and process. So your classroom rules have to be very. So one day you have to take enough time to just do your IIP so that you align the children to your class routines. But once the class routines are set, then by the end of the session, 4th period कर रहे हैं, अपने बच्चों को पता है कि हमको आना है, अपना बैग रखना है, almanac निकाल के मैम की टेबल पे रखना है, I can choose and go to any corner. That kind of thing would come with continuous routine. Yes. So now, understanding there are challenges on each corner, I'm just repeating this for the benefit of the other teams have already. The challenges are, what challenge do you face when you created corners? Some children are not ready to play at that time because maybe some emotional thing, they are not ready to play, so they go and shift to another table where they find it's going to go very over the challenge. What are they not ready to play, so maybe somebody not in a good mood that. Sometimes children want to do something else. They don't want to get involved in the playcation. It's okay. Depends on they are confused. Right. They are
Sometimes
confused.
they want to do the same corner.
Same And especially with nursery because they are individual players, they don't want to share. They may have a great खेलना and it is good dominating ones who will not allow anyone else, right? In such cases, something that would really come forward is your own routines and procedures and you being formed with it. So when we say any kind of indiscipline that comes in, it comes in where routines are not set. So when you have too many children asking for the same space, then we need to find solutions, not avoid it. So if I have to find solutions to a situation where every child is fighting over one same toy, what kind of solutions would we come up with? Safety
Setting the number of children on the particular time.
bingo, we can assign a limited number. So we say the minute you are 4, move to the next. What else? Shruti ma'am had given me a very nice solution. This was a question I had shared with grade 1 and 2 also. And there the Noida team had given her the solution and she shared it with me. She really likes her sharing. She said, ma'am, जैसे आएंगे 15 minutes तो हमारे पास 30 children. Grade 1 have more children than nursery and KG. So they said, well, 15, because and they don't have so much of space. They have restriction because they have a formal seating. You all are blessed that you have circles in your classroom and you have more space, but they don't have space to create corners as such in classes grade and 1, 1 and 2. So they said, ma'am, we might just, allow only 15 children to come and make the other 15 children open up their tiffins and eat. And the 15 can go to the corners and they would also eat fast because they know they have to go to the corners and we give them 5-10 minutes you play and then come back and then go. But if you have less of resources and you have too many children, see when you're set to find solutions, you will always find. Bringing them on the table, depriving them of things is no solution. Right? You guys are really best, you have very little children outstation, right? So that way, I think that's a
Sometimes we have a tambourine, so we just do a sound with the tambourine and then they swap. Like few tables, few children from this table, they go and sit on the other.
Right. So, see, what I think tambourine and all, why am I not encouraging that? Why? Reason being, it's a free play. आपने यहीं पे डिसिप्लिन करना है कि आपने अपने रूल्स एंड उससे सेट करना है आपने इंटरवेंशन आपका नहीं है देयर इज नो इंटरवेंशन ऑफ द टीचर एट ऑल 10 minutes I set my rules if I see 2 children playing there is a BD allowed of course safety and security is very important right now and if you say then the consequences if I see anybody fighting over something then they would not have the free play at all for that thing and carry them through the consequence so that they know how to cooperate, they know how to take turns. Okay. So that is also very important. You need to be very strict, but you need to be firm. It is very important.
Like what you're saying, ma'am, we are also doing the same thing, like we give them free play time. And whenever they are just fighting or something, then we make the child, sit for 5 minutes alone. That you just understand that you've done something wrong. And then again, the child comes back.
Yeah, true. So, understanding the consequences, maybe they will sit down for 5-10 minutes if they are deprived, they know that if I do something like that, I will not be allowed my speaking the next time. So you become very clear with your rules and your expectations from those rules. Right? So there are every game that we play, we have rules. You break them, you bear the consequence. Right? And you take them. Okay, so this is Why IIT is very important? Just because we have discipline issues, that doesn't mean we will avoid it. Right? So, we have happy and emotionally safe classrooms, address children's emotional well-being, create calm and relaxing corners. I don't know how much Abha covered it. Did she cover on how to create calm and relaxation corners? She, she won't have it on time. Yes. So, relaxation and calm corner, बाकी सारे corners तो ठीक है. Relaxation and calm corner में आपके पास what can you keep in your relaxation and calm corner? Can you talk a little on that? So, those straight balls, not the soft toys, but those straight balls. Not play, not play. Play is only your creative corner. Why? See, we have to, there is two important things that we are doing continuously into our IAB books, that is your glossary, okay, everybody quite that. Okay. So we see why is it very important because here in your calm and relaxation corners, unlike other corners, you will not have so many toys as such. And calm and relaxation corner is not a corner where the child will go on their own. Okay, and calm and relaxation corner is not for play. So now you have to understand why is the calm and relaxation corner that you have to set through your routines and procedures and then you're doing your classroom. That if how are you feeling today? Actually, I started with that. How are you feeling today? Okay. So when the child says, I'm not feeling good, they have to learn to express, I'm feeling sad. Or like you said in the morning, the child is coming and says, are you upset about anything? It could be anything. He could have started on and on. Would you like to use the calm and the relaxation corner? So your calm and relaxation corner should be where the child can feel relaxed. There has to be certain rules for your calm and relaxation corner. That means in your calm and relaxation corner, you have to, it has to be time bound. So आप एक वो रख सकते हो जो sand वाला होता है ना sand time. So you can have you are allowed to use it 5 times. Okay, so 5 minutes or 6 minutes to relax and 5 minutes and 5 times or 6 times that you decide. And then you have to come back. But what are the rules of using the calm corner? One, if you have to learn to address. There is something which is very important. We need to address our emotional, how we are feeling. That's not a reading corner. That's why am I telling you we have to make that calm corner. I picked it up. I wanted Abha to do it because it will take almost half an hour session for you to do it. Maybe some other time I will do it. But that purpose is just to that the child unwinds. One, he understands what he's feeling. You can have those yoga poses there. Okay. How do we manage? So those yoga poses, you have those things. So how would you give them? Okay, you breathe, count your breath. Okay, count your breath and you will relax. Once you relax, your mind is out. You're thinking on something else. Come back. You get 5 minutes to manage your emotion. Why is it so very important to address and manage your emotion?
Ma'am, open the window and even they can blow out. So this is also a calm corner. The window they can blow out.
Whatever you are suggesting, it can work. Open the window, but only if your calm corner is next to a window. So
sometimes scribbling can also help them calm down.
so two strategy can really help. So you can use keep such things in your calm corner where you have those squeezy ball, doodling materials. Okay, because doodling is something different from nature. Okay, doodling is just okay. And then you have hugs. So when you are not feeling the child show, so you have your cards. How are you feeling? The child can just say, I'm feeling angry, upset.
Ma'am, maybe we can have those, we
Emoji
get
cards
those
you can have.
cushions sort of a thing which can be squeezed, so maybe the different expressions on that. The child knows over there, sometimes.
Something can also help you reduce your anger.
मैनेज करोगे कैसे इसको
Draw your anger. Draw your anger. Comment. I was also thinking about
Okay. Something like, thank you for bringing it to my something that we friends and my own. Okay. Five basically, I'm still outdated in many ways. Okay. Cool. So what is material that are easily available? Squeezy balls is easily available. After carnival time also you get those squeezy balls. Okay, with bubble wraps, you will keep us information. Bubble wrap.
Nita ma'am is answered online also. Brinda ma'am says that we can have stress balls and Brinda ma'am says that you have stress balls and squeezy balls at the top corner and also pastel color soft.
Okay. So now, why why we know that? Because somewhere down the line, even if okay, some people said soft toys. Normally, I do not encourage too much of soft toys. Reason not being that it doesn't help. Sometimes you need to have something and feel good about it. It's okay if it is washed and cleaned properly, but the soft toys normally accumulate a lot of dust. And if it is not washed, then the child who is, hugging may get some injury. As long as that is taken care of, you may do that, right? Yeah. So that's all that you need to take care of. Okay, so that goes for your emotional and safe corner. And you as a teacher have to constantly, especially with pre-primary set of teachers, you have to constantly check on how are you feeling because there can be no learning if the child is not happy. Okay, so creating happy classroom climate, creating a culture where a child can go and say, when I'm not feeling, can I go to the calm corner? That should not be his get away from getting away from the class. That should, and you should not make the calm corner as a punishment corner. Okay, you are naughty, go and sit in that corner. That is not a punishment corner, please. That's a corner where a child gets away and resets himself. I reset myself when I come back. So there is a time, it is time bound. 5 times वो आपने कर लिया 2 minutes के लिए आपने not more than 2 minutes come back. So you give them strategies to manage their emotions out there, how you can do that, and address their emotions so that they can feel relaxed and going back.
Next step.
Okay, we've been talking quite a lot about inquiry-driven approach. Okay, so the first thing is whenever you're planning an inquiry-driven class, the first thing which I have to look into is what are the concepts I'm going to touch upon. Based on the concept, you need to think in terms of your provocations. What will be a provocation? It could be an object, it could be a picture, it could be a short video, it could be a person, it could be a song, so it's a rhyme, okay, so puppets, okay, so it's actually a story, okay, so there could be a lot of things which we can see as a provocation, so that you need to think and bring it to your classroom. What is the purpose of bringing provocation to your classroom? Is to bring curiosity. Like if you're doing plants, I think a live plant will bring a lot of excitement. Okay, you're doing parts of the plants. Okay, so you can bring in a potted plant there. Okay, so based on the theme or the topic which you have thought of, you will be bringing, and that needs to be discussed, and you have to think of a good provocation which can bring in curiosity in the classroom, bring it into the class. Okay, then next thing is what we need to, because we are here at, till UKG level, so the kind of inquiry process which we are trying to deliver is guided inquiry. Okay, there is an open inquiry also, which you can take it to the higher classes, not at this level. But here it has to be a guided inquiry. Who's guiding? Who's going to create that guided inquiry? A teacher. So, whatever your thought process, I mean the topic, main topic, then you also have been in your curriculum itself, you've been defining certain subtopics. So you know that from here you need to take the child to this point, to this subtopic, right? So you need to bring out those lines of inquiries. And how will you take and consider those lines of inquiries? Using good questions. So whenever you are thinking that, okay, from plant per se, after discussing plant, I want to take them to parts of the plant. So your question should be such so that they can give you some idea, because certain parts they are aware of. You will have to take out, or meaning you need to explore, allow them to give answers. Okay, so your questions should be such that are leading to certain answers, certain expected answers which you are actually expecting them from. Sometimes those answers may not be fully, or may not be covering the entire content which you are thinking of to be covered. There you need to elaborate. Then your role comes in. You will have to elaborate the topic, maybe give them some more ideas, some more insights. So first you have to, what is the first thing? Bring provocation. What is the second thing? Before giving the guided question, it should be very important for you to identify what are going to be my lines of inquiries. Okay, where actually I want to take them, where I want to, actually think. Okay, towards what direction I'm letting them
So your
think.
topic clarity has to be absolutely
Yes,
clear.
okay.
Your learning outcomes have to be absolutely
Absolutely
clear.
correct.
Because not thinking about the subsidiary learning outcomes, but thinking about the main learning outcome. Because उसी को बहुत कुछ क्या होता है, when I say कि अच्छा पेड़ से हमें क्या मिलता है? Apples. Okay, but do we want to ask that question when we are doing parts of the plan? No. So we have to see that, we have to understand that we have our instructional time in hand. We have to ask specific questions and we have to drive in their answers. We have to give them the directions to find their answers on the topic. So we cannot go haywire. We have to all converge.
Yeah, so creating that boundaries are very important, because most of the time when we were looking into your lesson plans, they're going like this. Okay, there is no boundary where I have to, end it. Okay, you can't give everything, parts of the plan 6 standard tak padhte hain bache. Okay, so we don't have to teach them everything in nursery class itself. Okay, you are an adult, you know quite a lot, and it's a human psychology. Whatever I want, whatever I know, I want to give it to you. Okay, that's a human nature. But we have to curve. Okay, we have to see age appropriate instructions to be given. Okay, and there I have to stop. Okay, that's very important. Okay, that will come only when I'm very clear what kind of a content I need to deliver, where I need to stop. Right? Then the next point is, of course, here we have written collaboration, but for your age group, it's table activity. Reinforcement of the concepts are to be done through table activities. Okay? You want to say something about table activities?
Yes, so now I think table activities, especially for the online teachers, here the teachers are absolutely clear with what the table activity. So rather than telling, I'm sure that everybody can understand the table activity.
Same concept being done in three different ways on three different tables.
In Nursery, you can do two, depending upon your class, but yes, begin from 2 and teach to 3 million.
Okay, okay.
One by one. What?
So we can change the activity as per the level of.
No. So you can have, so what are table activities? We are understanding diverse learning. Your way of learning is different. I may not enjoy writing, but the concept is same. Okay. Now, if I understand that, okay, I can show my concept and understanding on a sound or a number recognition through concrete. Why not? At least I do. Because all that is number value correspondence is needed. If I know my number value correspondence, may not know how to write 4 as a number, but I may know how a 4 looks and what does 4 mean in quantity. Right? So then that maybe those other two activities you have given. So you've broken the task into simpler tasks. You have to understand that how your class is, what is simpler, and too simple may also not lead to anything. You have to give them a little challenge. And then taking turns on each table, which is also very important in table activities, that let the child experience everything. Okay. So,
Ma'am, sometimes a child knows how to write on the phone, but he doesn't want to write on the notebook. So we can give him slate on.
absolutely right. So that kind of planning you can do. You want to get slate, you want to do it on a light table with rice and shali and suji mein karna hai. See why all that is very important. Mud mein karna hai, sand mein karna hai. When they don't want to use notebook, but they're all giving you what is the learning outcome. All this is improving one thing. It is improving your fine motor skills. So when I go on one table, I'm doing fine motor skills. On the other, I'm doing cognitive learning. I'm just trying to say, okay. It is very important that we know that what is our learning outcome at every table. So when I'm with my parents, okay, I will say probably his ability to recognize and is very good. He understands his concepts. He just needs a little practice on his fine motor skills. And you as a teacher know what all the other activities can develop his fine motor skills. And Pooja must have done those developmentally appropriate stuff. Okay, so there will be an age where he will acquire those fine motor skills when he's age appropriate. He will pick it up and he will do it. You just have to throw it in the environment, right? So that is something which is very important. Okay, so table activities you've understood, ma'am.
So, I think one very important point that all the tables, whichever you are, for which you are designing your tables, they are using single concept. So that is very, very
You
important.
cannot do maths and
English, actually, English, so like, not like that.
Whatever one, and that needs to be mentioned in the plan, right? Then the next, so two table activities, you are reinforcing the concept. Then comes how will you allow child to make deeper connections, and that happens through reflection. So over here, since these children are very young, you can have reflections through oral form. Okay, you can ask questions, you can, where supposedly you may ask, there are lots of reflection prompts we've added in our IAB books, in our law schools. Okay, so you see how reflections are playing an important role so that you're connecting your day-to-day learning or cognitive level learning to their social emotional well-being or to maybe their SDG goals. So there are lots of things which we are integrating together through reflection. So you can have oral reflections as they grow, maybe they can draw sometimes, so you can use those kinds of activities for reflection.
so
Once,
just one. Yesterday I was talking to her teacher and she said, "Madam, हमारा बेटी struggle आता है, children are not able to express it, and that especially relates to nursery children." right? So when maybe LKG they become more expressive, and I think all the nursery team out there is trying very hard to make them more expressive over the years. There are certain things which you will develop by age. Children are shy in the beginning, and some are not all that vocal, especially with nurseries, you will have varied people at different levels. Okay? So when you are doing that, that means one observation where you are expecting the speech to be developed to express is not happening. How else can you, what else can you see to assess for learning or as learning? How do you think you will make them take it? Or probably how else would you understand whether the child, if the child is not communicating, how else would you understand that the child has attained the concept as well? Ma'am, if you give any answers, you need to tell me. Online teachers, whatever questions I'm asking, they need to answer on the chat box.
Here's the.
Okay.
Yes, you're very comfortable with their peers. They are very comfortable with peers and they will talk
Doctoring. Nursery level that will be.
They always put a very short question and sometimes when they move on to answer, when we answer, then they get encouraged and they answer back.
So something what I understand from you all, that they are not answering, is when you increase your observation levels. You have, why are there so many trainings on your developmental milestones, okay? So that you as teachers become so sensitive that you understand what the child can at appropriate age acquire and what you can push the child for. There are certain things which are not in his domains, okay? There are certain things that he will acquire at the age of a certain, so don't push that in his domain, but push only what he can acquire, to push him for that. So maybe when you're not doing, you can understand through other things. Interacting with the parents is another strategy. When you say, ma'am, घर पे कैसे करते हैं? Parents know the children very well, okay? So ma'am, so you have to understand it's a community. And
Sometimes, when children are not speaking and parents are very, like, they're very clear, no, my child can recite the poem. So I ask them that they forward it and send it to me.
So see, when we allow every kind of the environment playing its role, because the child learns in his environment, right? The school environment, he can be shy, but he will see a very different personality back at home. So when children, parents are sharing that kind of a thing, we say, okay, ma'am, like she said, share the recording with us, like do this thing. So you give liberty to the parents to be equally involved in the school activities, and with small children, the parents have a very important role. Okay? They play a very influential role in the child's life. So sometimes you want to hear it from me, but they would like to hear it from the parents. So it's okay. It's okay, we accept as long as the learning outcome is achieved.
Many a times the online classes are blessing.
Yes.
How you are training the child, and child is at the comfort of his or her home. Okay, so maybe he's able to speak. He's alone. Okay, he's able to speak better.
Concentrating more than children.
Education will tell
Yes,
five
yes,
children
yes.
recite different rhymes. The other 25 parents will
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, I
make
think
sure that
They're
the
more
child.
excited than the children.
anything. I think sometimes these kinds of modalities are offering you or maybe parents a peek into the classroom, and
And
it's a very good negotiation between
you don't have to show what you are doing in class.
Yes.
They automatically
It
understand.
speaks for you.
Yes.
Okay, it speaks for you.
So
Right?
whatever feedback we give, they will definitely.
So now here, ma'am, departmental meetings are लेते हैं. जैसे
Okay, so as in for learning, younger children, we are constantly through observation, we are doing their assessment. So most of the time it is as learning, but sometimes you do certain worksheets also because you have classrooms and other things. So you are also maybe doing for learning, you're doing portfolio activity, all those things. And most of these things, we have been emphasizing that do have departmental meetings because what kind of a prompts you are going to be planning, what will be your provocation, how will you make your child reflect, so all these things you need to plan in the department. So that is why we are constantly pushing you to have departmental meetings. Do have a very critical discussion when you are doing these departmental meetings. Okay, so your plan is in place, your lesson plans generally are being shared. You all are preparing it. We are just, facilitating the share and they're coming to you. But then still there is lot of opportunity for the local groups or local departments to have discussion around it. Maybe your children are slightly different than the children who are studying in Noida or maybe in Delhi. So you have to have those meetings, do them very, very critically, trash out all the ideas, and then maybe you can take them to the classes.
So ma'am, we want a little more clarity on as and for.
As and for.
So
Yeah.
yeah. No. So for, I think you have been doing assessments very a lot, वो भी concept करते हो उसको क्या तो you are checking them on their the art and craft activity.
Your portfolio activities are
Sound,
for learning.
sound आता है कि नहीं, you do some show how to understand.
Show
If they
them.
know the sound, अगर per आ गया तो you ask them, okay, do the action indication, or you tell them. और आप कोई activity कराते हो तो उसमें
Yeah,
उन्हें
so
बोलते हैं कि आप
So
understand.
any structured activity which is being planned in the classroom, structured activity like show, tell, kariye aapne or you have done portfolio, that is for learning, okay? As you are every day you are taking rounds in the classroom, you are making note of certain observations, whether this, that's as learning, okay? They're meant for you to understand whatever you are delivering is that getting observed by taken by my children or not? Are they able to understand? So as is mainly it's meant for teachers to understand whether the children are understanding based on whatever concept delivery you are doing, or is assessment.
तो
Okay.
अभी तो नर्सरी में नहीं अप्लाई होगा, बट पीयर रिफ्लेक्शन का हम लोग ने रिपोर्ट का होलिस्टिक डिपार्टमेंट
Portfolio वगैरह तो कर रहे हैं ना?
So that kind of assessment also come as well.
Portfolio. Any structured activity which you plan in the classroom, okay? Maybe a page of a flosses, okay? Any document that is your core, like that we have been presenting.
That is wonderful. So now when you are doing, now when we look at your assessment plan, your lesson plans, okay? When we look at your lesson plan, then you are going to see what assessment for you have planned, because you have to also continuously plan your assessment, because it is a yardstick for a teacher as well to understand if maximum children have attained the concept, and for the teacher to tell her rep that ma'am, this concept is taking more time, can we spend little more time here, can we do more, and then move on. Okay, so until and unless what is your percentage in the class that you feel a child should, children should attain concept for you to move on to the next concept? What is the percentage?
Somewhere about 90.
80% is good enough. Okay, the minute the child reaches A level accomplished, 80% आपके पास आ गया, ठीक है? हर क्लास में कुछ बच्चे ऐसे होंगे जिनको कॉन्सेप्ट क्लैरिटी नहीं आती, you have to understand. उनको आपने 101 देना, then you plan your remedial plan, then you plan your intervention plans, then you discuss it with your heads. It's very important they should know. Then you enroll the parents and then you plan remedial strategies for them, right? So how you work it out and then only move to the next concept, because every concept clarity should be there for you to build up on the next. Especially with maths and English, right? Maybe with EVS, there can be certain things which can be out there.
So that's all. The next slide. We've already spoken about 5 E's of during this discussion only. I've already taken you through engage with your provocation, explore, which are your prompts, explain and elaborate is the teacher-led instructions which she is using to fill the gaps, evaluate is your assessment stage. So we've already covered during this discussion. So let's not waste much time because we have to take inputs from you.
Okay, so when we are looking at the lesson plan, now coming back of सबका presentation आने वाला है. So जो हम lesson plans में, what are we looking for in our lesson plans is this. Okay, this is the key principle for effectiveness of a lesson plan. Okay, so one, it should be student centered. Okay, so when I put student, we share. Okay, what normally when we come across in the lesson plan, we see a lot of teacher-led activities. But we want to see student-led activities. Again, another thing coming for a lesson plan, we need to become very clear and concise ourselves. And that clarity and conciseness comes from our departmental meetings, which we have done in our previous slides, where we have encouraged everybody here. You are blessed, your school gets over a little early, you do not need a special day, but 12:40 you must sit with your immediate parallel teachers and decide that what are we to do tomorrow. And what are we looking for in assessments and what and how the flow should go. Your plan for your next class should always be discussed. Okay. So and the more discussion it will bring, the more brainstorming you will do, the more clear and concise. Now, why am I saying clear? Because sometimes it so happens that the instructions, the teacher is totally confused. The dev must have said, ye kara, hum bhi bahut kuch kaise ye kar lo. How you have understood at your level and how you are executing yourself in the classroom. Giving multiple instructions can also, the lesson plan may be very good, but because your delivery of instructions was so many that the child got totally confused and the outcome was never attained. So it also depends upon your own delivery. So that clarity and conciseness will come from your own micro teaching and flashing of ideas in your departmental meeting. Right? And that clarity. So you need to do that. Why we say flexible?
How much instruction? 3 to 4 will be okay?
So there is no fixed line teacher.
I know there is.
There is no, I can't draw a line, if you go question, who's more than 3 questions, so
That is not possible.
that is you have to understand something which is.
Like yesterday, our mom was talking about this, in the nursery class, it should be one instruction.
See, why we are saying one instruction at a time.
Yes.
Okay, so now, because my ability to hold an instruction is very limited, you have to understand learning milestones की बच्चे का attention span is barely for a minute or so. If I am going to give you so many instructions, then the child will not, he will not know, he get totally confused. Very clear. इसलिए मैं ये question, तो best होगा क्या departmental meeting में trash out कर लो हम ये question. Asking question is an art. We will discover that in the session today. Asking question is an art. Asking the right question to evoke the right kind of answers is something what all teachers should learn. Once you know, and the other important thing, more than your own knowledge of the content, something which is very important is your own classroom management skills. How do I understand my class? How well I understand my class? And how do I execute this in my class? So when I'm saying flexible, it will fall a little in your managing in the class. I have to think on my feet, right? Now, if my session has been reduced all of a sudden, there is an earthquake and we move on, God forbid. Okay, we have to move out. When the session has been compressed. Now, I have to see that my purpose of the session, maybe for 10-15 minutes, has been delayed. I'll come back. Now, to go back to what was the content of the thing, I'll have to think on my feet and say, इसमें से क्या मैं हटाऊं, क्या मैं आप लोगों के पास lesson plan सबके पास एक skeleton है. Some schools are having their annual days, some have their other pressing needs, somebody has another burning event coming up, so they cannot deliver. All it is planned in this lesson plan, right? But then you have to know the kind of flexibility as a teacher. You should know what are core concepts and how it is. So core concepts को भी simpler activities में करना बहुत जरूरी है. Need not be elaborate. Sometimes when we are asking for a micro teaching, वो micro teaching है बहुत elaborate stuff है, and they go in lot of drills. Okay, बहुत सारे इसकी teaching learning वो सीखना है जो teaching learning material आपको classes में दिया हुआ है. Pick it up. Less of effort, more of impact. Every time think of less of effort, more of. We are not here to suffocate teachers. We are here to evolve the team. Okay, so you have to see target learning outcome attain हो रहा है, less effort हो रहा है. That is the smartest way. Right? Okay, so reflective. That every time we need to reflect. We need to reflect how we can, make our lessons what went well, what didn't go well. This is not reflection of the children. This is a reflection of the teachers. We have to reflect because we have to bring our reflections to the plate on a departmental meeting. Departmental meeting with Nursery KG can happen almost on a regular basis, but I am just telling you, however engaged you are, you may have other agendas for your meeting today, but you must always reflect how the day went, how was your class, how did the concepts go. Okay, and a positive environment.
That's very.
That is very important. If you do not allow for mistakes, now when we put something to the child learns, what happens when we say people perfect काम करना है? And what happens? How will be the responses in the classroom?
Not in small.
Control. They will not know. So you have to allow, there are two things. You have to allow, create, make mistakes. It's okay. My man says it's okay. But all I need to do is, I have to speak about it. It's okay. I'm learning. Okay. So the minute you have, at every time, where are you praising? That also creates the positive environment. Are you praising the, you are an intelligent child. Okay, you have, all the time saying intelligent. Now, the minute he's threatened, where his intelligence is threatened, he will not do the activity. So, where you have to always praise the process. You are on the right way. You are doing definitely something nice. Would you like to share? Would you like to do? Okay, that kind of understanding, motivating the process is very important. That sets the classroom on a positive environment, right? So I think you all know we can do a different lecture only. So here the question is, good teaching is more of giving the right questions than of giving the right answers. So you all are knowledgeable teachers, but what is more important is framing the right questions. Why is that important? Because that will that will मेरा बत्ती जलेगी भाई तो मेरी बत्ती जल रही है I'm sorry. So make you have to provoke me that मैं अपनी बच्ची and this look at the kind of self-esteem that goes up because this is what we say is discovery based learning. Just you ignite somebody to a level where he says it's my learning and then the self-esteem goes up and he never forgets. Okay, so this is what it is. Okay, so I'll just begin with one example. Okay, this is the chair. This is your provocation for today. Quickly, I will take a couple of answers. Okay, your question is, what part of the chair you think is most important? And why? I want to ask each table think on your own. Every table answer.
And then, because they are core, they will be foundation of the fair.
Okay.
Next.
Everybody has a different answer. Okay, the thing is not there, it's not a chair. Okay, if you say what a part it is, then it's what but this we take the material to make a more answer. Okay. Every part is every person. I'm asking for one most important that you think. The back. They want your comfort, they take back. All your answers. That is all wrong answers. Anybody online? Then also, okay, why I say I'm asking one important part. All are wrong answers. The right answer, I will draw from here. I asked you a competition. You're all incorrect. So now what am I doing? I'm going to change the gap. Okay, so what is the right answer? Since you're adults, I'm saying what is the right answer and wrong answer. You will not do that in class, right? So the right answer are the names. The screws that hold the chain. If the screws are not there, there would be no part put together. The most important part is the school. The fruit is the first love. Anyone has to say it. Okay. We all say
Plastic chair.
plastic chair is a provocation was a chair I have put, so you can't imagine a time. You can't imagine what I have not put. Okay, you are all a nursery children. You cannot work on your imagination till I tell you this. Okay. So the question why do I say this has become the moon mantra and I want everybody to say this as your moon mantra in your life as well. What are the screws? The screws are an invisible thing. सारी सब सृष्टि करते हैं चेयर की जो दिखता है all appreciation and achievement goes to the chair. You buy the chair because how it looks, the comfort level, how material kya hai, all the exterior. The invisible are the screws that work behind and are the most important that holds the chair. जब कुछ there are any problems in your life, you blame the ground, you blame somebody. But what is it that makes you fall apart? It's not the ground or some issue. It's your own screws. Tighten up your screws. You will find the right balance. Okay. So the entire moon mantra was to take you to your philosophical understanding. So my concept, my topic was a philosophical one. Taking that as teachers, we generally work more as schools, okay? The chair that grows shines in life, okay, may not understand the kind of invisible work that you have done. People who have, but there are many who do that. But the जो screws का काम होता है वो है habits. What are the invisible things? Making the right habits, developing the right kind of relationship, positive relationships, understanding the value of beliefs and values and things, patience, discipline. These are all your invisible virtues that make you a beautiful human being more than just the exterior, which is the knowledge, which is seen by everybody. Right? So I think we need to work on this note, and on this note, we begin the presentation. Okay? So if I tighten up your schools, if you are right, we are not targeting a school. All teachers out there, if you have gone through the rigor of interviews, you have a quality. Okay? You all are beautiful. Okay? You are doing a wonderful job in your classroom. If here I'm trying to scrutinize and find faults, it is a purposeful intention, not to put you down, but just to tighten up the to make you a beautiful.
Okay, I think with this example, you covered the entire inquiry cycle with provocation, prompt, then explanation, and then reflection, virtues. Okay, that was a reflection. Okay, so you covered the entire 5 E's of inquiry cycle, right? Now, here there are 4 reflection questions. They're already on the table. Okay, we are beginning with the presentation. So you need to answer these 4 questions on A4 sheet. You can discuss and answer
Okay,
them after the presentation.
now before we begin the presentation, what is the time? 10:45. So, कितना minute is per school for?
Okay, first we are starting with nursery.
Nursery, LKG and UKG. And we will just give you now because we don't want to see a demonstration. See, the purpose is not to see, we know you will demonstrate yourself beautifully. Okay, hello children, class, smile. We don't want to
I think half an hour we can.
just give you, we would just give you how you are conducting. So if you, even if you not carry any of the teaching learning material, we believe that you will carry it. You know, so अगर आपने कुछ सोचा कि मैम हम ये करेंगे और हम ये kind of teaching, you can even rethink and change your plan right away. Also think on your feet and change also. So anything that you see, but हम जो आपके plan में देखेंगे, वो देखेंगे how you have planned your ongoing assessment, how you have taken the topic for introduction, how you have taken the topic for reinforcement, okay, and how you. So we would.
This was so, I think we can give you half an hour each team. So once you get your team, so it is 1 to 11:15 will be then finish, and after that we'll give them a break. Then we'll half an hour.
So what we can see, what I am saying is, we give you 15 minutes for nursery, 15 minutes for LKG, and 15 minutes for UKG. Okay. Explain any one topic. You can choose EVS, maths, or English.
So we are not
In nursery, you have to tell me just now. If you are taking English, then I will tell LKG to take different. Who's the first presenter?
Ma'am, we have to take day, like 1 day.
But the entire week you have to finish.
Until
one evening इनका तो नहीं okay day one day two sir the continuation is day one
And then LKG would be you take it. Okay. Day one and day two. We have to look at ourselves. Let it yours is integrated and yours is not subject. So we I was still on that table of this class. Okay. So coming back, let's do it. Let's do the week where I want to, what I want to see your introduction, reinforcement, and conflict. Your competition and your transformation and your learning outcome. So now, can I have silence? Can I have silence? देखो मैम, please I'm sharing my expectations with you. So when you begin a topic, okay, when you begin a topic, you have to first tell us what is the topic, okay? Then you have to tell us the learning outcome of that topic, and then you have to show the content flow. You do it with provocation prompts, how you plan to do that. So we should know that. Why am I asking you this? As spectators, all of you are going to say, see whether the learning outcome is being reflected or not. If the activity was suited to the instructional time period or not. So they have to see how time-based they are. Okay.
Hello everyone, good morning. So we are going to start with unit 1, week 10, who we are. The topic is who we are. And we are going to do the day 1 and day 2.
Can we have silence now?
So I'll start. Yes. As ma'am quoted also, the lesson plan is flexible and adaptive for all of us. So we can make the changes as per the requirement for the children. Right? So learning outcome, we'll start with learning outcome. Create awareness about the sense of touch and smell and identify related objects. Identify numbers. Demonstrate number sense, build number value correspondence of number 4. Since we are doing number 4 in this. And recognize the circle shape. Recognize letter, which will be doing letter add. Enhance vocabulary and phonological awareness for letters and add. Understand personal hygiene, the importance of safety rules, stranger danger, and table manners, and learning to express. Develop broad and fine motor skills through lip printing, play work, and outdoor play, which all will be doing throughout the week. Identify safety measures while traveling and developing creative skills. So I'll start with day one.
We want to see the PPT or the.
Yes. We have also made a PPT.
No, sorry, not the PPT. I mean the lesson plan on the screen. On the screen.
So ma'am, we've also prepared a PPT as we've put the pictures of the kids which they have done since it's already done, the week one. So if you want to.
No, I don't want to see.
Okay.
We just want the lesson. You may
So she wants.
Yes, what? The lesson plan in the chart box. You can put it in the chat box, but we also want to see for the.
So we can do a handout. So we have it.
No, okay, never mind, I want to see it because I want to take you back and forth, I'll stop you in the years.
So we'll start with day one provocation table. We have identification of surface shape of photograms for 3 topics. So as it is a pre-K time, the children will be identifying surface shape with the photograph and the photograph shapes will be kept and the concrete objects will be kept. And there will be a creative corner of freehand drawing of surface shape. Yeah. So here we have even the materials.
Yeah.
We'll be keeping these materials in the provocation table. So your topic is so the provocation is identification of the surface shape.
Circle.
Yes.
Circle shape
It's a recap of circle. And on the third table, you as you always keep it, that's a picture reading corner. Where we keep all the pictures of the related register. Yes. And then we go to the welcome and the warm-up session, that is 15 minutes. So we start with the welcome routine, and then we go to the prayer and all, and then we go to the drive. We have taken the related drives as per the lesson plan. So wheels on the bus.
We keep it the whole. And we have safe.
Mention that.
It's all mentioned, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, fine, good.
Yes. And then we have the oral counting with clapping. So one week we have taken clapping.
Because
Can we have silence because if we not, it's very difficult to teach a class which is disruptive as teachers may all know that, right? If children are talking, your attention is silent. Let's cooperate, okay? If they are presenting, let's all listen to them. Yeah?
Because the week is talking about who we are, so we have also incorporated rhymes like chubby cheeks, with my hands and claps, so that they can also talk about body parts. We're starting it from day one. So we're doing 5-6 rhymes, we start the day.
And then oral counting with clapping.
Yes.
What are your learning outcomes for the day one? Day one, what are you expecting?
And the recognition of certain statements and introduction of number
Number
4.
So maths come in.
Yes.
And
Yes, ma'am. EVS will have stranger danger. Okay. So we have the role play.
That's what I'm doing on day one.
We are doing.
Yeah.
We are doing the circle time now. We have a role play for stranger danger. Presentation will be by teachers. So here we also did this activity. Should we have it in her class? So she'll just help you.
For the stranger danger activity, I was just discussing with the children what usually before the gifts that you get from your parents and whatever you get, the sweets you get from your friends, your teacher gives you something. Suddenly I asked a guard baby to dress up in a different way and come to the class. She came with little stuffed toys, some sweets, and she just asked few kids to come along. And there was one girl in my class who very good, she went along with the lady because she's good. She went along.
And she went.
Yes, she went around. So I asked the other children who were sitting in the class, where is Suhanika? So they all were like, okay, so Suhanika is missing from the class. So Suhanika was out for around 15-20 minutes. Till that time, children realized that something went wrong with her because she's not there in the class. So I asked, what happened? So these were the questions that I asked her, where she is, why, and who happened to her. Do you know the lady that came to our class? So this is how I got it. That was the provocation. The lady dressed in the.
Not the regular.
And so Hanika also, where she was sitting in the medical room. So Didi just left her in the medical room and she went away. Then I asked Hanika, what happened? Where were you? So she said that I was in the medical room. Who took you to the medical room? So I don't remember. So even she got scared. So next day again, I did the same activity and that girl was not ready to go out. So I think the only thing that you need to build here was your. But I think let's give them a big round of applause because I think you grew the point home and it is very important that our learning outcome is attained. I'm going to stop you every minute so that everybody can reflect with you along. So we feel that she attained her learning outcome. Yes, she attained and she wanted to spread on that going with a stranger can become dangerous. Right? So I think that kind, what beautifully she did was she refrained from telling the kind of danger because that kind of putting that kind of fear in a 4 or 5 year is not appropriate. So understanding that
Otherwise, they will not go with Didis in the afternoon also at the time of dispersal.
whatever political reason, any which was it wasn't required. Okay.
Yes.
So what I'm praising you for understanding the limitation to what level your class should get delivered. You should know the content and at what level should I go? Should I go overboard, scaring them? Dekho aisa ho
Yes.
sakta hai.
Yes.
This was experiential learning. The children realize you learn, attain your learning outcome over. Because they're talking, they will not go beyond.
Yes. So as ma'am said, I saw it on Instagram also. So there was this reel where the children were getting a little scared because the person who came as a stranger was dressed in all the black clothes and she was dressed up like that. Yes. So the kids were crying. So here we tried that, okay, there was a guard lady who was not very familiar with the kids. So
But then, in reality, in practical life, you won't find somebody dressed in black clothes all the time.
Yes,
Yes, because not know people around who they want harm to you.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, so the prompt question would be here, who would give you food or toys at home? We'll start from here. Since they know their family members and they'll answer to this that, mom gives food and all. And then they understand why we should not take food from others. So should we take something from someone new? Why not? Should we talk to people not known to us? Why not? And what do you do if a new person says, come with me, I'll give you a chocolate or a sweet? When it's okay to talk to is it okay to talk to a new person?
Is it okay?
Yeah, is it okay to talk to a new person? Okay. So now we move on to the next part, and that is the mathematical understanding.
See, now look at the prompt question. I want you to look at the prompt question. All of you. So see, where it's okay to talk to a new person. Now here the question is different. Okay. Is it okay, Nahin? Where is it okay? So where is it okay when I'm with some others around me? Okay. With an elder sibling or someone who might know, or in my familiar surroundings, or with my teacher around.
Yes.
Is it okay to talk to a new stranger? So that is very. Is it okay to talk? Then the answer is yes or no. When we put up a prompt, it should be reflective. Where the child is reflecting and you are drawing the inquiry to make them understand कि कब ऐसे बात करनी चाहिए कब नहीं करनी चाहिए, giving that clarity and finding the right term. It was beautifully done. Thank you so much.
Then we have the mathematical understanding that is for 20 minutes. So here we move on to previous numbers, recap of previous numbers integrated with circle. Here we have done on the board, maybe the teacher will be writing the numbers, the previous numbers. And she'll be, asking, making balls to play, and she'll be asking how many balls she'll be put. So it'll be just a recap of the corresponding numbers and the objects. And we can show the kids will be, showing the fingers, and maybe we'll ask them things around them. Then we move on to the introduction of number 4. Counting objects. So like counting objects like chair, legs, things around us. And then teacher will build on more activities like, she'll be showing the numbers and then she'll be showing the number 4 also. She'll be doing number rhymes based on number 4. Yes. Yes. And like everything related like the 4 fish, that one. And then here the number introduction will be done. After that, we move on to the language development. Would you like to say something?
No, I'm listening to you. Because I don't have your day-wise plan. I'm very.
It's a day-wise one. They will even clap 4 times, they will jump 4 times. Yes. Ma'am will make them count. So we will even ask from questions here also, like how many wheels does a car have? Yes. Like do you travel by car, you travel by bus?
The boards in the classroom.
How many corners are there? So like that.
Things around that.
So I'll share the personal experience. So, I was doing this 1, 2, 3, 4. So before I just drew one square. With one I do one thing, with two, with three objects, and with four I only did one square. And I asked them, why only one thing? So actually there were 2 children in my class who came up with these 4 sides and 4 corners.
And we always do this only. Like for number 3 also we show try. We make them count the corners.
Beautiful because you have to understand. Can we have silent here scrutinizing? I wish all the teachers will, whatever kind of answers you have your reflections, they put it down rather than talking. You have your echoes right in front of you. See, now what we need to understand is something that they've done is they are always constantly scaffolding. Okay. What previous concepts they have done. So if you have done the shapes, square and triangles, and you are integrating with 4 sides, and what they've not told me, a square has 4 sides. You are leaving the children to find the connections and come out with it. That is the beauty of the lesson plan. Okay. So when I am not telling, but I am expecting and putting that kind of critical thinking skills in the children and expecting them to find something new in it, I think that is very good.
Whenever we write numbers, we always make
Always.
one sign.
Yes.
We always make two eyes.
Two eyes.
What make it
So I share this, ma'am, like with number 9. I always do this.
Sometimes it is also beautiful to do something like 3 eyes. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, someone not so
On that part, I tell you, in Sharu knows, I tell them, like, Sonia man has 3 eyes. Sometimes I have 3 eyes, I have an eye at the back.
Okay, so let's see why I'm saying is you sometimes need to throw challenge and think out of the box also. Sometimes that creative thinking you need not do something all the time which is cliche for whatever association with stuff. But of course with us we understand no concrete examples are there. But sometimes it is also important that go out of the box
Knowledge. Yes. So like with number 9 we do, yeah, with 9 we do, that baby stays in mama's womb for 9 months. So they're so surprised, and I said, how many months you were there in your mama's womb? I said, you were there for 9 months. I said, you go ask mama, how many months you were there? So on the for the online class when we were having, and we were, doing the number recap, and number 9 came. So they all were, just answering, yeah, mama's womb, we were there for a baby stays and mama's coming for 9 months. And the parents were also so happy, to hear that, the kid knows this much also.
That scientific inquiry is big.
Yes.
Reproduction you do where you are in
Yes.
But something that when we say that you have to do experiments. Experiments children will not understand at nursery, KG or UKG level. But that experiments are only done to evoke that sense of discovery and to make them align them to the scientific inquiry. I think that is very important. Okay, so when you do something like that, you are making them attuned to their application in nature because they see.
Yes.
Children, especially that age, हमारे टाइम पे बोला जाता था कि बच्चे को एक उसके फेंक दिया गया है कहाँ से how is the child okay it was parenting to tell the child that he was in the womb okay we never shared that kind of information but the times have changed and we have to change with time and it is not embarrassing to even like a woman's body right that shaming should not be done. Like, I think
We had the board also last year.
it's how we actually change our perspective. और सबका ही होता है ना तो मम्मा कैसे
हाँ अब तो रेडी आ रहा है so they know now.
कड़ा करनी है हाँ they should know.
So then we move on to the language development. Here we have a large group activity happening, and we are doing a recap of pictures, cutouts, and soundboards with the help of cutouts and soundboards. Even we have this PPT also, ma'am. So we've done this here. So this is you put on the sound, and they were identifying the objects and putting up on the board with a magnet. So then we have, after that we did a related sheet in learner's book where they are coloring the sound pictures. And we were putting objects, these are the objects which we had put. Yes. And then you
Okay, now my one question. No, I just want to understand.
So there was beginning surgery.
Only one and nursery and only to the beginning sir.
One.
This is the first picture. Yes. This is the first picture. But we have to follow it down.
Okay. Okay, so there is some misunderstanding in our understanding. Okay, so the school had to present. We were just trying to make. We were trying to make the current lesson plans perfect. Okay, so we were trying to focus on unit 4 only. So we had to do week 1 of unit 4. It's okay. But see what we are understanding is the strategy. So this was unit 1. That is why I was recap hoga. Abhi tak to all clusters are done. Okay. So I am on that page. Okay. So
4 introduce अभी भी हमें click नहीं कर
I thought you know what it is. Somebody said,
Yes, I thought you
I
were.
said, yeah. So I'm not able to connect that you're in week 1.
Yeah, that's why you're.
That is why I'm continuously filing. Anyway, so we understand. I think let's give them a big round of applause.
Tell them what unit 1
I said, yeah. This is unit 1.
Okay, let's look at the two.
मतलब ये वाले lesson plan बनाए थे ना मैं आपके पास।
So we made the change to that. We said,
Okay, so next for the benefit of the teachers who are here and those who are online, we made this kind of a change at the 11th hour. Okay, so that is why it's confusion. Okay, Saket was noted. I think a big kind of applause. They were just giving one day to work for it.
table activity work.
yes, ma'am. We have day wise. So like this was for day 1.
नहीं table activity.
So 9 by the number कर रही थी तो मैं
Yeah, so now we come on to the table activities. Yes. So here we have the table activities which we did with number 4. And the table 1 was again, since we know that one concept and all the activities are different. Stringing 4 wheels, joining 4 circle lanes. Again we are integrating it with circle shape.
Circle and 4 we are integrating.
Shruti ma'am, do you want to show? Come. There's no right copy. She's doing it from the current scene. Yeah. That's why I'm asking. What do you want to show? Shruti ma'am, if you want to, we respect your copy. Okay, any which ways.
And making 4 circles. So they'll be making 4 circles with label.
Circle and
Yes,
circle and
yes,
number
ma'am.
4.
We will do it. And then we move on to the So here also in integrated play, we have given 2 activities. as we said, it's a flexible lesson plan. We choose that day. So ask children to make a big circle on the ground and like children holding hands make a big circle. And four children to come inside the circle, do actions like clap, jump, touch your toes. Like all the word actions will be taken.
Okay, now to the team, a question. Okay, I'm just speaking it. Yes, to a general, because this is week one of the initial week 10 of unit one. So now if you have to do kinesthetic learning, why do you think it is so very important? Especially at nursery, LKG and UKG levels. She's planned an activity wherein you are doing what?
We are asking children to make a circle, a big circle. Again, integrating it with circle and number 4. And we are asking them to hold hands and make a big circle. And 4 children to come inside. And we give them word actions like, clap, jump, touch your toes, and so on.
So they're beautifully integrated. And when they're working on the domains, they've done the activity where cognitive learning was happening, they've done where language is happening, they're doing something which is where kinesthetic is happening. Why do you think kinesthetic is very important? My question is, why do you think kinesthetic is so very important in your planning in a day plan? Why is kinesthetic important? Helps in development of brain. Okay.
Children have a lot of energy and to channelize that energy important. And when they move, when the movement is done, they rebuild their refocus and they can refocus.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yes, that's true. So when we are happy, we do that. Okay. And something which is very important, like what she said is, because the children are full of energy. We need to channelize them. Making them sit on chairs, it's not a good idea in lesson plan. When you're doing your lesson plan, you have to give them a breakup. And giving them this kind of kinesthetic movement helps them to come back to learn and they are ready to learn. So that is why even in your circle time, you have your active, passive mode. I hope you all know your routines in your circle time.
So you can see on the screen, we have the picture also. So this is how we did. The hula hoop race is also the second one which we have kept. And this is the first activity we were talking about. They made a circle holding hands and they were doing it.
So they got out.
Yes. It's outdoor and
See why? Now see this focuses on your ability to manage your challenges. Okay. When you are doing and when you have 30 children and you are able to decide, okay, 15, and you should have that kind of people also. So they have 4 teachers, probably 15 must have. So if you have your resources and you're using your resources effectively and understood, okay, there will be one teacher who will go out with them, one will be inside indoors and will be with that kind of resources also obviously you need. But when you have those resources and you done, then the child enjoys both the outlay and he understands that this is the circle that he looks in the environment in. So see, they've maintained it. And when you are in active like races and all, children are very excited. Okay, so they want to win. They got to it. So that is like, but when you are coming back to the class, something which is very important is once an activity gets over. Once the activity gets over, a wrap up is extremely important. Okay, a closure is extremely important. What did they pick up? So those kinds of prompt questions you need to add, and whenever you come back from an activity, what did we see there, or what did we do there? And closure. What do you close? Closure is very important. हमें क्या कराया? Otherwise, children will go हमें से खेला कूदा आ गए. That closure is very important. That we saw a circle hula hoop and we jumped here. We came in the class. We were in a circle around the hula hoop.
Yes.
That kind of closure is so we moved around. So that wrapping up and closure, the teacher, what does she to cement the understanding. Okay. So and the children will remember whatever, so give them a glass of water after they do a kinesthetic and tell them to drink water from the water bottles. And then you cement with certain kind of questions like yes, this was very running out. Okay.
And one last.
And the final was the creative one. So here we did the lids. We just took the lids of the different size bottle caps.
Learning outcome.
So this was the learning outcome here is
Fine motor.
yes. We have fine motor skills,
Hand-eye printing, in the circle, primary color.
What have you written as a learning outcome?
we have written here, ma'am, the development of cross fine motor skills to lid printing and these are the all together. And they knowing the colors also.
And the different stream करना develop skill of keeping man. So only the learning outcome need to be given here. What did you say was your learning outcome? Develops? Okay, so then here you can say demonstrate or
So
creative coordination and creative Okay, so now I hope you know that the learning outcome was attained by them also, but the learning outcome the language has to get. Yes. So we will not have the next word was learning outcome is what Okay, so what choices have you given?
colors, and different sizes.
Okay, something very important. This is a very important aspect which I see missing in lot of schools. एक जैसे झंडे टंगे होते हैं kids line से everybody has done the same thing. The choices are
here we gave the freedom to choose the color.
Extremely important. So when you display something like this in your classroom, anybody who walks in has to also look at the beauty. So when and how would you make the learning visible? Now everything that you have done, so where are your gaps and only address
Yes.
that?
Yes.
So
We
when
mentioning on that.
you have to mention on that, so that if a parent walks in, the children are given choices to take the color and they play.
And not even we are, heading, putting things also, like you said.
Like last time when Preeti ma'am and ma'am came, Nita ma'am came, so they asked us to put headings on all the craft work what they have done. Because understand more better understanding for the people who are coming from outside and reading it. So we have labeled it.
So it is very important that whatever you have seen the beauty, you gave them choice. But in fact, it's like okay, middle one. But we are also learning to make us truly seen by other parents, another stakeholder, and another parents, so that they know that the wonderful work is being done in school. So when you are doing that, you as a teacher can only show that through your captions because that is how you can do it, right?
Let's find out here.
Okay, two, you want to do?
No.
Okay, I think next one.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So ma'am, just even Suki has worked on that PPT and we worked as a team here and the screws we are all the crew here how to share and we worked as a team. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity.
Not like we learn what beautiful activity plan. I love the way you make choices.
Yes.
I love the way you have, so I would love to see proud activities not same across for all children. Maybe when you give choices, that brings up their self-esteem, which is very important. So you give choices, they give choices in their limitation, understanding colors as a choice. But just do not stick to the idea of only colors. Because if they give them the shape of small and big because they wanted circles. So understanding which is a small and giving them comparison, and then when you do, only thing is when you do what was missing was that you do a closure. So when you tell the children that okay, you make a choice of a circle. Why and what do you think when you're comparing it to a bigger circle? So you ask those kind of questions. Okay, which one do you think was bigger? Why do you choose it smaller? So that you get a peek into their thought process in that.
We also do this activity, ma'am, where we just put water and we take them to oasis. Now the oasis is no more there, but then we have it somewhere else. So we just give them the brush and we give them the brush and we ask them to make doodle whatever they want to do.
And then we ask them
So
also to
we are
observe,
reinforcing circle here, but they also make something whatever they like to do.
but they also see where the water has vanished.
Absolutely.
That also we ask.
Okay, beautiful. So when you're doing something like circle, you can put all things together and then give them your choice.
Again,
So आप केवल को immediately translate नहीं कराएं. अब ये तो हमारे हो and leave some color in there.
yes.
So learning is not in the classroom alone, especially for foreign children. It can also be outside. Okay, a big round of applause for Can we have the activity to circle that?
Yeah, let me show that the water. No, not the water. Also, let's see. Now we can have or paint one. We have just one picture though, but
Maybe I all at the wrong time.
there in the bigger one, all in the colors.
Just to avoid
Yeah, next time you put
in the class.
more
Gigi को बोलते हैं जैसे कि वो कलर वाली बोलते हैं वो करते हैं.
first favorite color is blue.
Okay. So that is that the creativity. Finding perfect circles is not the problem.
So yeah, this is the hands we made for all the sensory textiles. We have put it in a class. Touch it, yeah, here.
And we ask them, yeah.
Temporary. Okay. Ma'am, I just want to know Janvi Pitara because that is my teaching learning material and I want to see how they have used the resource.
So here we were doing the letter sound and introduction, and we had kept all the themes like concrete objects and letter picture cards and all of ASA, and we just have this like this, and they take it out. So instead of we showing them the picture or something, you know, when they take it out, it's a very surprising element for them, and they feel really happy to take out the picture. Though we've kept and have pictures only, but they most probably take out all the ASA pictures. And
That
if
was
they
for
buy
the
chance-
introduction, so
they have yes, app pictures. On the introduction, they will take app.
Okay, so we can also use that same Janvi Pitara
To recap.
to explain. Now, there's something again, when you put sorting, if you put another sound, then that becomes your assessment.
Next.
Yes.
Sorting,
Wonderful. Okay. So then, how do you do the assessment for learning? You use the same teaching learning material as an introduction, but you converted the same teaching learning material. You did not do anything extra. But then new sounds were introduced. You added to it, and then you sorted. So the effort put by the teacher was minimal, but the outcome was the. Okay, good.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Okay, let's take a break and not the circle.
we've done that wrong. Last one. सुनो हमारा सामान अभी और भी बाद में
It's spoke of it muted and there is another way of doing. So, you get this question in between, okay?
So we're doing minute 4, leaf 3 for LKG. We started the day 1, ma'am. Or we started.
So, however you want to start.
Okay.
I've left the choice on you. Now, what I want to see is very clear. I want to see first your learning outcome, the topic you have made the learning outcome for. So, first you share the topic,
Alright.
then you share the learning outcome, and then you share your whatever.
The topic for day 1 for EVS is types of trees. Maths is
Types of?
types of trees.
Go
down,
down.
ma'am. Go down.
Okay, fine.
Then the maths, the topic is place value of numbers.
Let's see at a glance. Please focus there. At a glance,
Stay there.
at a glance, और इसको थोड़ा छोटा कर लो. At a glance, columns. Okay, yes.
Then in English we have recap of voice heard.
Okay, fine.
Voice heard. Then we go to day 1.
So knowledge of the world around you को सिखा लिया ऊपर. Go up at a glance and you just and don't come to the forefront.
Ma'am, share screen.
थोड़ा सा लेफ्ट पे करोगे so that headache yes. We starting with the provocation table.
I want to see at a glance. First, you
And
can
then go up.
Show something here.
go to the EVS column.
For the TLM.
Knowledge of the world around you.
No, nothing is mentioned. Okay, so I want all the team has to be very. Now you have to understand this kind of work we had also given other schools to review. When you are reviewing the whole content, we are trying to make one lesson plan perfect. And whatever you see is not missing. That is the point of critically reviewing it. We are not trying to be. See, here also I'm not being polite to any. See, my intention is that I'm not telling you as a teacher. I'm looking at your lesson plan, okay? And I'm also understanding the larger purpose. That is that the larger purpose is going across to many others. And the same thing you have to understand as teachers that this is the lesson plan that is going to thousands of children. And when you have to understand that it is going, then you are correcting one teacher makes no difference, okay? So we are not, as professionals, we are not going to take anything personally. This is a professional criticism. It has got nothing to do with you as a teacher. Okay? Am I clear with this? No one has to feel bad. Okay? No school has to feel bad about it कि हमारा school का presentation था, मैम ने हमारे को इतना ज़्यादा credit. Nobody said the scheme should come down with this. Okay?
Yes. So topics are missing. We'll put them now. Now please go to day 1. Now we have the provocation table with real objects. We have a playground. Children come and see, feel the real objects, the real fruits, vegetables.
So your topic is
Types of trees.
types of trees. Okay. So this provocation is set as a corner.
Yes.
Okay.
Then we go to the creative corner where we'll be having leaf collage. We'll be using dry leaves. We'll be having drawing sheets, poster colors, and crayons. Children will be doing it on their own.
That
Choice will be given.
Yeah, I want to buy corners.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's for now skip this.
Okay, ma'am, please go down.
We want to see your planning.
Okay, then first, yes, circle time.
So now when you see your welcome, now I'm just critically again reviewing it. I wanted to perfect my 6 weekly lesson plans at least, okay? And this becomes your base so that we do like this for the other units, okay? Now, when you have written welcome and time routines and you see rhymes and action songs written there, you have to be very specific which songs you want because those songs will go for a week. Please, one of you
Like topic is types of tree. So we can start with the right. So like for example, tree.
never mind.
Tree stands so tall, gives shade to all. Birds make nest, sing for us. Tree, big and strong. So, ma'am, here we can use this tree types of talk. So we can say.
So you already have in your team only trees or do you have trees, shrubs and
We have only trees.
only
One tree.
okay. You otherwise your team you say.
Yeah. So here we are using right. So we can
Yeah, yes, fine.
if there are different types of trees, then we have names of trees in different days. If we see here, ma'am, we should have said conversation of saving trees, so divided the topic in this week.
Let's see your EVS breakup.
And change.
5 days. Your knowledge sources the 5 days.
Types of trees, names of trees, conversation of saving trees, discussion of medicinal value of neem and tulsi. It is already there in the plan.
We have that in plan.
Yeah, it's in the planning.
So now understand one thing. Okay, now this is food for thought for everybody. Okay, first thing I asked you was what was your theme? Okay, because we understood that we had made shrubs, the herbs and trees. Okay, you chose that we are going to divide the whole thing into maybe 1 week you are doing trees. This is what I understood. You're going to do shrubs 1 week and then you're doing herbs 1 week. So either you write recap because you probably understand. I'm understanding this is the last lap of your. It is the third. So maybe you plan to do herbs in the next coming up week or what do you plan to do?
Next will be shrubs. Shrubs, then herbs.
Then herbs. So herbs you haven't touched. So then why are we building up on herbs? Question 1. Okay, because they haven't been introduced so far. So then you have to become mindful in your planning because you've not introduced and you have planned a day on herbs. Then do not bring that provocation because that provocation you have left for the third week. If for instance you would have done herbs in week 1 and week 2 and you would have brought then it would have scaffolding. But because you've not touched on herbs right now, this is not the right time to make.
We change this. We have open-ended questions and certain time like you. Ma'am, please go up, please.
Day 1 का मुझे पहले topic बताओ. पहले types of trees.
Okay. How can we take care of plants and trees?
Okay.
Prompt questions.
Okay, now I'm going to stop you and I'm going to question you. Okay. Look at the prompt question. Understand the topic. Now share the learning outcome first with us. Share the learning outcome for this topic. The purpose is here is to make perfect lesson plans. And please again and again say to me, अगर मैं परेशान तो हम लोग Okay, so what is your
Awareness of types of trees.
this learning outcome? What do you think? Is it correct or is it not correct? Could it be better? First, you're not writing well, okay? So let's understand what are you doing, okay? But different types of trees you are doing. Is that part of your curriculum? Types of trees? You have types of trees, types of trees. Okay, so what types are you touching on?
Banyan and one more tree. Banyan trees there.
Okay, they are not types, they are names of trees. So types of plants, they know types, they understand the topic and the curriculum as well. The curriculum plan says types of plants and we said shrubs, trees and herbs. We never mentioned types of trees. Okay. We now names of kinds of trees you can still say. ये mango tree है, this is a banyan tree. Okay, apple tree. Okay, but so that is why, see, whenever when you are until and unless you understand what is the content, how much has to be delivered, the topic, what it is, your neither will your learning outcome be correct, neither will your pedagogy will be correct. That is something first we need to understand what we have to deliver and how much we have to deliver. What is expected of us. So first to translate the detailed syllabus and to our understanding is also very important. कि हम समझना क्या चाहते हैं और हम डिलीवर क्या करना चाहते हैं. Okay, this is okay, fine. But it was incorrect here also. So now, see, now we have to also see there is an ongoing process of changing also. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because there the pages on the line. Okay. So the next question was, can you sway like a tree in the wind? These are the provocation, the questions.
So now, what provocation have you got in the class?
And the real objects, the onions, potatoes, the fingers.
So now, so okay, you all have to answer. The topic is types of trees. समझ लो कि because she's talking about whatever error on our part. Types of trees. Neem tree, banyan tree. She wants to tell you okay what are the types of trees. Maybe there are aerials and without aerials. So maybe all those types would justify. Okay. So if banyan tree has those aerials, the other trees don't have. Okay. So if she's taking as banyan tree in her mind and she's taking a mango tree and understanding of confidence tree, I'm just talking that as a teacher. Okay, so you are evergreen tree kind in your mind. That are your types of trees. Okay. So if you have that kind of a thing in your mind and you have taken any three examples in your mind, what kind of provocation, what is first your learning outcome? What is your learning outcome? Now read your learning outcome. Awareness. What about it? Now awareness, is this learning objective specific or very large? What should be your specific? Now the question goes back to the tree. What do you want to tell about the tree? तुम अपने lesson planning pedagogy से क्या समझाना चाहती हो कि और क्या about the trees?
What do we get from trees? How the trees look like?
So the topic should not be awareness and awareness भी नहीं होना चाहिए और फिर हमारा topic क्या होना चाहिए? What do we get from trees? So your topic should be how a tree. So maybe my topic would have been how a tree useful. Okay. So now if I say how a tree is useful, तो फिर बहुत सारी चीजें आ जाती हैं. But anyways, and but again coming to the specific, what we want to get from trees, I can take that as your topic. Okay, what do I get from trees? I'm also thinking on myself. And now when you have that topic as how do I get my trees, your provocation suits. Now you have to see that your question is your provocations are leading to the topic. So what provocations did you get? She got potatoes and
That's very
okay, we got a question. So now if your topic is what do we get from these, the provocation is correct, but the learning outcome is very vast. If you have to make your learning outcome specific to your pedagogy, what is it? Everybody has to take. We alone will not take. What is the learning outcome that we can give? Now you know her intention. She wants to deliver what we get from trees to the children. What should be the learning outcome? make them all identify that we get from or specific organs. Okay. So because we're not talking about paper or anything, otherwise these are very useful. Okay. What fruit all about this? What am I asking you today? Can I have silence here from the target team?
Vegetables तो नहीं होगा भाई trees से
No, we have to have flowers. So it's because every time when you are thinking about learning how to become very specific. So you have to in your department decide what is my learning outcome. So, she's written national theme, maybe a scaffolding that, okay, so balance. Now you bring that as provocation. How do you bring that as provocation? Picture. So when you, huh? Video also you can, yes. So, but then you have to see your instructional and does it allow? Okay, with your kind of whatever activity you have.
you bring in some pictures
You have an Let's read your prompt question now. Now we know the topic. Now look at the prompt question. Are they leading you to understand the topic? What do we get from the trees? Okay. Now question number 1. How can we take care of plants and trees?
by loving them and
So you have provocation तो concrete objects ठीक है वो टेबल हो गया अब आप prompt question है जो lead कर रहे हैं the topic was what do we get from the and then you are looking what do we get and what kind of fruits and flowers do we get from the
Online also they are giving us.
Okay, please read out the answer.
Yes, Mike. Savita Sharma.
Savita Sharma is saying learning outcome, identification, knowledge, big small leaves, tall, short, many branches, fruits or flowers, trunk, stems and colors.
So, learning outcome for this day 1 is 2 days, right? And when we are trying to write a learning outcome, we are trying to make it clear, crisp and small. Okay, the language has to be very concise and we have to see what is like again we are mentioning that we don't have to every learning outcome that we will attain, but it's the main purpose of the concept. Right, so we all know the learning outcome.
yes.
Identify different types of fruits and plants that we get from the tree. Okay. And then first question, second question.
Ma'am, second question.
How can we take care of plants and trees? अब ये question तो गलत था. Okay. अब इसी जगह आपको कोई दूसरा question डालना हो तो what will be the question? Will that bring out the concept of bringing what we get from the trees?
What fruit do you like? What is your favorite fruit? Same different question.
What more? Who can think about what question would be?
I think yes. Yes. I gave a look which is we have written here the
I don't know anything about it. I'm just listening. तो मैं तो कुछ क्वेश्चन सुन रही हूँ तो मेरे दिमाग में तो आ रहा है कि एक आम से लगावट भी एप्पल से लगावट भी मुझे कहीं भी नहीं आने नजर आ रहा है यस very good question now see why we are understanding jahan what a prompt question where you're making me think and she's absolutely right when you give your provocation you are excited to take that direction not taking some concrete example of the topic even we are not only mean and Daniel was written, then your provocation should have got see, sometimes that kind of nature walk with Jana, need भी मिल जाना आपको अपने nature walk पे या पैरेंट भी मिल जाना is अगर आपको explore किया हुआ हो you can do that and you take it for a short break or you could also you can retake and bring in the classroom and share sometimes it's not possible we feel instructional time is lost 10-15 minutes that kind of planning you have to see so already what question okay so here we have to see this is kind of brainstorming I want because the lesson plans are for all of us to execute. Yeah. Irrespective whether you are in nursery or LKG, it's not necessary कि आप LKG में पढ़ाते हो आप कुछ नहीं करेंगे. Lesson plan is okay. So there was one question from me. What do you offer my conversation? So, if you want to understand, now can we change the topic now? What is the topic?
And the next one is maths.
Yes, in your first topic, but you have to understand. So your topic is maybe understand. See, okay, because manual is with area and the provocation then. We have to change the provocation. Yeah, even if you topic,
Day one you can take them for
so now
अपने फील्ड में ले जाओ आपको नीड फ्री और वैलिडिटी मिलेगा and allow them to collect certain things वो आप next year the propagation
now for your first question. So your first question, what did you see? What did you see? Okay, now if I say I saw this, what do you see? So your observation. I saw something hanging. Okay. Okay, now what? Now first you have to question them because you are leading. That is your learning outcome for them to understand what is how it means. I'm understanding from you. So I'm asking, am I on the right track? Probably you are trying to understand how a neem tree, what is the tree looks like, and how a banyan tree looks like, right? Maybe banyan tree has aerials. You understand the learning outcome. उनके roots under है. Okay, usually trees के they rooted, but both of them are standing. Okay, and maybe some trees give us something. Some trees give something else. Banyan tree is known for its shape. And it's a national district, okay, but for a needy and religious purpose also. So we understand. So now when we know that this is the kind of content we want our children to know, first we have to understand the content we want to give. Then we plan our day's learning outcome, okay, and the learning outcome then changes because then even our pedagogy changes. Then your nature walks becomes effective. Then your bringing provocations in the class, English becomes effective. Then your PPT, because there are so many things roots and all you will not be able to show, you need to show through a slide. Then that becomes effective. So you're planning, because when you're planning, you know I have to even plan a PPT. Right? That kind of clarity, that will give you and the kind of prompt questions that you will put for it. So your first question is observe the two trees together. So you put in a picture of a banyan and a neem tree. What and whatever answers you are not drawing from there, what are you doing? You are building the connection. Everybody will not know everything. Okay, especially with trees and all, not children will not know everything. They can say, let's see what is the kind of responses you will do. But your front questions are clear. And then you are building. Okay, can you see something hanging from the, do you see something similar hanging in the image? Okay, you can, you can take them. What do you think they are? Okay, so we have to understand. And to understand this means the previous knowledge में parts of a plant नहीं किया होगा. So when you are see whenever we are planning, I'm coming back to the topic. Whenever we are planning, we also have to understand what was the previous understanding. Because ये week 3 है, ये week 5. तो इससे पहला में क्या हुआ है? Part of that we have, because if we are taking what you see here in a banyan tree is roots. That means we are talking about a part of a plant. That means we have to somewhere down the line scaffold the previous knowledge. We have to take them with the previous. So हमें एक जो inquiry building में आता है, that is eliciting response. Okay, that is when you know what was the previous. So you have to do in your day one. You have to quickly elicit prior knowledge. Okay, how would you elicit prior knowledge on this topic? Anyone from the how would you elicit question for the entire whether you're teaching LKG KG? How would you elicit prior knowledge on this topic? Okay, she said, so she said, Julie ma'am, she said because national symbols में आपने banyan tree decided. And you said this is a national tree, and you had been it around this is a national tree. And you said, okay, what did we, where did we see this? What is a tree? So when you are drawing your responses, okay, you have to all the time remember you are not giving the answers. Okay, so your prompt questions are there. Okay, where did we see this kind of a tree? What does it remind you of? Okay, it was okay. Fine, we saw it. Somebody will tell you saw it. Okay, is this symbol representing something? Okay, what do you think it is? So you are scaffolding the previous understanding. Yes, it was. That this is a national tree. Okay, we had studied including the national symbols. Okay, so banyan was one of them. So we understand that. Okay, so when you are scaffolding the previous one, eliciting, building up on that. Yes, perfect. Now today we are going to learn more. What more do you see about? Okay, so now you want to touch on the medicinal and other aspects. Every tree gives us something. So we understand more on that. We are building on the okay, fine. You have to do your research work as well. What you want to come prepared to the classroom. Okay? What do you think you want to deliver and to what level? So your prompt questions will lead them to that one. If you feel your question is not leading to them, then you are supporting and explaining in between. That's how you and जो आपको लगता है कि knowledge पहले है उसे build कर दो जो gaps है वो आप fill कर दो. Right? Let's read your next prompt question.
Can you explain like?
So when you had put that question, can we? Okay, you can do. Let's all say like a tree. This is a child study question of their levels. Okay. Okay. Now why? So you have and your question there. It is when you've spoken about trees. Okay, that okay. This is the neem का बस इतना ही बता रहे हैं कि neem का आपका. Are you giving more content than that? No. And you maybe have more content than that. This is an easy recognition and probably little medicinal value, and this is bad. Are we giving any more kind of content? No, so that is higher than. So we have to understand what is the kind of content. इतना करने के बाद your question number 1. Question number 1 था. पढ़ो क्या था? How can we take care of plants? How can we take care of plants? And this can be your reflective after we have discussed. We've understood that the trees are so important. It's straight like a tree. You ask them as a reflection. Now, if I want to take care of this tree, how will I take care? Because it's giving me so much. How do I take care? Now you put that question back in this. Instead of being a prompt question, it has to be a reflective question. Got it? Okay, they do. Day 2, what are you doing? What is your topic? Your learning outcome and then your
topic is names of trees. Okay. Name the tree, natural tree, vanity tree. These are prompt questions. Name tree and its uses. The prompt questions are: can you tell the name of your favorite tree you like? First question. Okay.
So now we have to also understand. जब हमने स्टार्टिंग में करा था और हम बोल रहे हैं कि आपको एक बार you have to understand हमारे पास सीखा करने में अगर हमारे पास करने के लिए नहीं होगा क्योंकि पैनल वो फाइल पे जाती है तो हम we keep thinking about पैनल में या कुछ भी पूरा करते हैं okay you have your IAB pages also based on it. It's not necessary that your IAB pages have to be only planned as assessment. Your IAB pages can also be planned as repost. अगर आपको sometimes just understanding with observation that this is Banyan and this is me and just understanding a little information, you don't need any deeper understanding than that. Then your IIT page can be done. Can we see what are the pages on IIT based on its map?
I think they're restricting to name and Banyan tree only. I don't think we're going
Wait, no, so now in your so understanding when to use this and when to use that.
I just have a good vocabulary.
So when I see this page of IIB and the online teachers also, I'm sure they have their books. Okay, so now when you see this page, you are, that means by the time the child does this page, he should know about the alien roots. He should be aware of this and that as a concept. This and that. Okay. If that is not done, can we do this page?
No, we are not.
We cannot do this page. Okay, so when we are doing our planning, we have to understand how much is the child already aware of before we put up a page and assign it in the lesson plan. So first we have to see this and that has been covered in grade 1.
And this and that is the last one. We have given this page outside the
that. So अभी इसी रूप में इंग्लिश में प्लान है तभी बना रहे हैं. So अभी आपको देखना है when you are doing कि आप इंग्लिश पहले पढ़ा लो जैसे मैं पहले पढ़ा चुके होंगे तब वो पेज करोगे. That is the understanding. So A1 you have shown them what a radial root looks like. Then you have tried what? Favorite tree. They do not have Favorite tree for many types.
And the next question, having seen a very big I think your sequence is slightly incorrect appears to be. So I think आपको दो ही trees में cover your emphasis should be laid out on only on this. Okay, so one main circle that you only discuss banyan tree at length, talk about the vocabulary associated like areas, roots, okay, maybe the trunk or leaves, whatever. I mean the vocabulary you can cite on and after that, go to neem tree. Next day, neem tree only. Focus on only neem tree and relate it with its medicinal value. Because I don't know तुलसी लीच कैसे आ गया?
हमने यूनिट का किया था trees, shrubs and herbs. And now
The curriculum said there many topics. Once we are talking about trees, shrubs and herbs, parts of plants are trees. Week 2 we are teaching the importance of trees. Week 3 we are
only two types of only shrubs. Only for
and 5 is not oriented
okay. See, it there error on our part and the curriculum plan also. Can I have your attention? So we have to understand if the stations are not allocated then the kind of attention is back to us because they edit those stations. Okay, so we are also this time the UKG curriculum has also been rolled out for the first time and that is the kind of reading we want you to do at your level. Bring it back to our focus now because it's lesson management. We are also looking at this pages again. So in case there is any kind of we can also go back, understand it, how whatever has been planned in UP has been getting executed as we don't use the IIT pages. If it is not mapping to the content planned in week 3 to the IIT page, you as teachers to bring it to our notice, right? तो अभी जो कर सकते हैं वो हम एक फ्री कर सकते हैं डे वाइज वीक में so we can plan any one tree manually because it is easier to scaffold with unit 2 also because it is a national symbol. Then we keep telling okay now look at the things that are hanging. What do you think they are? Your prompt question will be what do you think they are? Okay, they can say strings. They can say anything, okay, but they will definitely not say roots. Understanding. Many of the UKG children will not be able to identify as roots. Okay. LKG. It is not be able to identify as roots. Okay. So now you have to understand कि अगर ये roots नहीं है तो मुझे ये वाली information as teachers का हमें prepare in the class that you are telling them and what telling you. Okay. Okay, so why we should go on this very quickly is that you have to understand the difference between what goes down and what goes and there are certain things that it has certain falling on the so you are not able to that you need to
Thank you everyone.
We see the cumulative lesson plan. We want to see
Focus more on that. Other things are up to 10.
The learning of count obstacles and compare using count numbers in reverse order with backward counting. Recognize the name objects with code shape because we will be doing a recap of the shape code. Then solve subtraction problem using pictures and objects. And then we will be using the subtraction vocabulary like minus, take away, less. So as a glance is there, single digit subtraction. Then we have code, backward counting 10 to 1. Then we have the use of greater than, less than, equal to symbols. And then we will be doing second floor. We will be presenting that in the pictographs.
Okay, just one. I need a mic.
Okay, so only one difference quickly we will do, very quickly we will do, okay, we are not going to look into any kind of demonstration. ये number sense और ये shape का ये जो topic डाले हैं in at a glance we will remove, okay. And the topics that are ongoing and you don't want to do because I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bullets.
Yes.
Okay, so if I see 7 bullets, that means I have work that needs to be one taken on table probably. Okay, how you will have to integrate any two topics together because 5 days में कैसे होगा इतना content. Then we have to see how you plan it. So whenever you have integrated any two concepts, if I want you to integrate any of the two topics, then put them together and in that one bullet so that we know that this is the integration. The 5 bullets में basically हमें दे जाना चाहिए at a glance. Okay. Fine.
First, day 1, we will be doing recap of single digit subtraction and we will use the rhyme 5 little ducks as a provocation.
Okay.
And then the learners will be singing along the rhyme and we will be using the ice cream sticks to subtract and the same will be done in the preset notebook and we have
Subtraction पहले हुआ है.
yes, absolutely done. I will take a recap.
I can put the vocabulary on the board since you're doing one operation for longer duration. क्योंकि vocabulary है boards पे आपका always for
Even in your at a glance, if you written single digit subtraction, please write recap.
It's on the table.
अच्छा, like at a glance you put it there.
And we'll be putting day 1, we'll be doing table activity because it's a recap, it's not an introduction. So table 1, they will be using the ice cream sticks to do the subtraction. Table 2, they will be solving the sums using snap cubes. And table 3, we have numeracy skills book page that we use in assessment because it's a recap.
Okay. So what are you checking there? What is your check for understanding?
There's skills, subtraction skills. Take away and they are aware of the vocabulary because while doing the teacher will use the vocabulary. Whether they're
So right now from this, maybe you are thinking in your that you are polishing the concept. The concept is understood already.
Then we have day 2 recap of the shape cone. So for the cone, we will be putting the provocation.
Now I want to ask, is that cone a recap or an introduction or an assessment?
It's a recap.
It's a recap.
We'll be using the provocations like the birthday caps, the ice cream cone. We will putting these things in the corner. We'll be using these things in the corners. Yes, as IIPs in the morning and yeah, the children can explore and then they can respond to the things that are there with the shape code.
And we'll be getting the max kit to class 1 also, which has a
That will be we got it. So we have 3D shapes here.
which is there.
From the one tab also.
3D shapes.
Great. Good analysis. Now next.
Now next day 3 we have backward counting 10 to 1. So that
No. Then what are you doing in your recap? So cone में क्या करें?
they will be drawing these things on the things that they can identify or related to shape cone. They will be drawing on the slate.
3D shape को 2D में कराओगे तो it like a triangle only then.
So we can make birthday caps.
This is great. Either make them a creative art करा
हाँ, great. Birthday cap. Okay. So now that is where you have to think. Okay, that अगर हम cone का अगर हम recap कर रहे हैं तो you have to one. Some important step that they are missing from the entire team. One is an important step that they are missing. Yes, Mother ma'am.
Now, since they are doing the subtraction, so hands-on activities, manipulators are very important. I don't see many manipulators using.
So they are using चलो मान के चलते हैं उन्होंने जो भी उनके पास था उन्होंने कोन और आइसक्रीम कोन सब कुछ रखा है. Okay, provocation is there. Okay, लाइव ऑब्जेक्ट्स कोन के जितने भी थे उनके पास थे उनको ले लिया. But what is the important step that they are missing?
Not in teaching cone or subtraction.
In teaching cone.
I have worked on the same lesson plan for the whole curriculum. So when I was doing cone, the most important thing is to show them the actual image of a cone, that 3D image from link between the eye and the aeroplanes, their nozzles and the cones that is happening.
That we have discussed in the evening part. It's there in the form question. Yes.
So when we are doing cones, somewhere it has to be mentioned.
Hold on. Absolutely bingo. That was my question. Okay, what is an important part that they are missing? The important part is eliciting the prior knowledge. If you have covered that in your EVS, then you have to first begin with recapitulation, understanding what they know. Then you will understand what you need to build. Okay, so what if they have done, if you've done through EVS, you've done through others, you've done before, this is just a recap, then you need to understand whether the concept is absolutely clear to take them to a craft activity related to it that you have planned in your lesson, that you want to do a craft activity. So you would tell them that, yes, so how would you elicit a response on code? My question goes to you. Everybody can think, how would you elicit a response on their understanding of code? आपने बने के आए हो, आपने अपने IIT में रखा हुआ है, ओके ये तुमने उसका ऊपर वाला पार्ट निकाल लिया, ओके हाँ, so what kind of a shape is this? Just खाली recognition ही तो चाहिए ना, that is the only thing. Okay, we had seen this. Okay, what, where all? अब तुमको ये समझना है कि आप ऐसा shape मैंने और कहाँ देखा, तो तुम्हारे prompt question में just can you give me any one more example? example when such a shape is being used? Can you find such shape in the classroom? One quick eliciting response so that you know they have identified the correct thing of a code. और वो 3D shape ही है वो 2D में नहीं आ गया. Okay, triangle में नहीं आ गया. Right? So ये चीज तो हमें this is eliciting response and understanding their prior knowledge. You had got so much in the IT, you have to just pick it up and say, "Man, we saw this also, we remember this also." Right? And then you do your craft activity. What is the learning outcome for them?
They will recognize and name objects with the shape code.
अब ये तुमने eliciting से कर दिया and craft activity का तुमने कहाँ mention किया? तुमने plan to craft activity करा ना?
मैम हमने plan craft नहीं किया. We have planned the drawing of
अच्छा,
the
वो
code
create हो गया.
objects.
So, okay, so your learning outcome would be also to build their creative skills. Okay, so we learn that. Okay, so fine. That's your day 3. Day 2.
Day 3 is backward counting 21, so that we'll be taking them out to the playground because we'll be integrating with the tech classes. So we'll be doing rocket launching. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Okay, hold. That is your pedagogy. Your learning outcome.
Learning outcome.
Is it recap or is it introduction or is it reinforcement? Is it a recap activity? Is it a reinforcement?
It's done earlier, but now we are doing the recap of it. It was written. Basically, we should be focusing on written part.
I'm not asking, you need to be very specific. You have to understand your instructional time in hand. If I have to write 10 to 1 in my notebooks, then I will need certain kind of instructional time. If I plan rocket launching outside, I will burn almost 25 to 30 minutes already outside. Either this can go into a double elaborated time activity.
Ma'am, we'll tie up with a pet teacher. We'll doing the pet also.
I'm just saying your thing, but okay. So if you want, you can do the activity. It's only that you have to come prepared with that kind of an activity. How will it become effective? Sometimes we plan ambitiously, but that kind of an activity cannot happen in our instructional time. This is what I'm constantly telling you. If you plan your instructional time well in advance, or even if you want to do this, you can always exceed your mother teachers. You can also see that we will take that with club it with our physical activity. Because you plan 20 minutes for your physical activity.
We will stand in the row and then we will be doing it together. The children will enjoy.
Don't be here, whatever kind of activity.
And it's something that is available with this person.
Yes, the material is available.
अब तुम लेके वहां से वापस आ गए और फिर क्लास में तुमने
Book work.
तो तुम्हारे को what will they have to ensure that the pay period is before the
Ma'am, it's usually the first period in PV.
Okay, got it. What I'm trying to tell you is you need to understand the order. If you have planned, if some other school doesn't have something like this, then they have to plan something different so that your quick eliciting of response one, which is for very important for a previous, this thing is very important. Okay, first you have to always understand what is there, build up on it. Because what you can do in the classroom, you will not be able to do in an open space. There will be a lot of distractions there. You build that up. Now we are going to go to a physical. We will see something related. When you come back to the class, I'm going to ask you. So something that has to see before you begin with your written work. So what you saw. So what will be your prompt questions coming from here? You saw from, and that kind of clarity should be there. They would be going to the for sports whatever activity. They will see an oral. In the classroom, what kind of a question would you ask?
So you want us to
See what oral has happened. The children have
what did we learn from that? How did we launch the rocket? Did we count from 1 to 10 or did we count from 10 to 1? How did we
Okay, hold. This is normally what happens in the class. How did we count? count? Did we count from 1 to 10 or did we count from 10 to 1? Are we allowed children to think? This is student led or teacher led? Every time plan student led activities. So when we think was it, leave it home. Let them say. Okay? Let's not underestimate their understanding. Okay, so what did we see outside? What did sir do? How did we launch the rocket? Good question. How did we launch the rocket? Okay, what numbers did we use? So they would say, bingo, we went. How did we go? 10, 9, 8, 7. Okay, you give them each question. You are helping them arrive at the answers. Please do not. Did we do this? Did we do that? Yes, no, we did this, no.
Okay, next thing.
Then Dave spoke.
Greater
We will change the questions.
Alarm bell.
Then recap of the concepts greater and lesser or equal to. Since it's a recap, so we will be asking the learners to. We will be presenting it all on a sheet. A4 sheet will be putting the number cards there, and each child will get the alligator sign to compare the numbers.
This must have been done earlier also, no?
Yes.
Greater than lesser.
This is week 4, greater and lesser.
And it's to last.
So what all, see when you are doing greater and lesser, okay, now this is just, I'm asking you, okay, so this is what I'm telling you, I'm asking all the LKG teachers. There were certain pre-number concepts that we had. Now we can also ask more and less, okay? Why I want you to connect that. If a number, if I say greater, what, because it's just a synonym, okay, in our language in English, okay? If it says greater, that is more methodical, it's more mathematical in a concept, okay? So if I say greater number, what do I understand? What do I understand? Your prompt question. Because now I am building upon the previous understanding as well and forming the connection between more and less. That has to happen simultaneously because you are sealing the foundation of mathematical understanding. Okay, so when I say, when you understand that only we understand when we mean more, okay, we say that is greater. Okay, we understand that. Okay, but we will also understand why maybe you've done that when you're doing that, the mouth is open because it can hold more things, okay, but it is hungry, it can hold more things together, it is greedy. But when you're doing that, you are building up on the previous knowledge, is what I'm trying to say all the time, and you are taking them now, okay, quick, because it's a recap. Quick, what will you do next?
Then we will do the bookwork. That will be an assessment of the concept.
So quick check-in for assessment. Okay, tell me 9 greater or 6 greater? Okay, so I can do my quick check like this. Okay, you will show me the sign. Okay, this sign with this. But then you can put your number. Okay, so now you can put your numbers there and you can tell me which is greater. Okay, now if I say, or you can say thumbs up and thumbs down. If it is greater, put your thumbs up. If it is smaller, put your thumbs down. Okay, then, but you have to take a quick check. Quick check to understand if everybody is with you on that and then give your book for assessment.
Ma'am, I have a question. Like these concepts, greater, lesser than, how to be go, we have been doing since unit 1.
Okay.
Why do we need again provision of
So we are not giving provocation. That is the good question that you asked. We are not giving provocation for that. We are building up on a previous understanding.
we have to
So every day you are doing it, so do it again.
But say, okay, let's go after number. This now we know the terms also.
See, I am correcting greater because you are going to take an assessment on greater and lesser. We planned an assessment on greater and lesser because greater and lesser is also connected with more and less. And this is a continuous process that we've done. Why are we not making the understanding clearer? So we are just checking on the previous understanding. So it's eliciting a good response. Whether, ma'am, you want to say something?
Just whatever we are doing in the class, we always do it. But do we have to put it in the lesson plan? How we are go about it?
So in your lesson, good question. देखो क्वेश्चन पूछना बहुत एक आर्ट है because जो पूछोगे वो मिलता है sometimes when you how the other person misunderstanding is also happening. So if you have to put this in lesson, you would because you would put eliciting. When your prior knowledge, you would put eliciting, connecting, drawing connection will be more and less. Okay, every time you are scaffolding previous concept, so you are putting the elicit out there. How are we eliciting that response? Because your lesson plans, what has to be done is also planned in your detailed curriculum. Your lesson plan shows how it has to be done. If it is how, then if we are taking them on a quick elicit route and then we are taking them into on a for assessment because this is an assessment, you will just have to take an eliciting response and give them an assessment. Okay?
One more query. Now, when we are writing the prompt questions in this, we are basically focusing on knowledge around this, the EVS part. Are we supposed to write it for the other subjects also, even in case if we are doing a reading?
Yes. Not we will not focus too much. It depends upon your instructional what we've already drawn. See, it's not prompt questions are not made only for EVS. First, let's be clear that prompt question is to bring curiosity, whether it's in English, whether it is in maths, or whether it is in EVS. It's an inquiry-based learning. Where are we building inquiry? That's the question you have to ask yourself. When are we building an inquiry? If you are not building the inquiry, then we are not asking so. What else? Sometimes when we are taste, sometimes the prompt questions can also be an eliciting response. Okay, questions. So it's not only to build an inquiry, sometimes it is to elicit response. Okay, so a good quiz can also become your elicit response. Okay, a good quiz can also become your to test the previous knowledge. Okay, so if I'm asking those questions, those are not prompt.
So I think whatever your question is, that's very important, pertinent question. So generally, whenever you're making an introduction, definitely your provocation and prompt questions are very important. They have to be there. But when you are, kind of a topic where you're recapitulating again and again, पूरे unit में आप ये कराते जा रहे हैं, in that case, only maybe just recap. Just a quick answer, quick like fact check whether they have understood, and then you're going to the assessment part because you're going in the assessment plan, correct? That is why
plan more for us because the books and the content is more for the bridge. So that's the reason we have planned for more assessment.
whatever. See, they are based on their classroom situation, so we cannot question that. Since they're planned assessment, so obviously a quick fact check is required prior to the assessment.
See now again instructional time आपके हाथ में है, ठीक है? Rich है और non-rich हम इसको lesson plan के मुंह से समझ रहे हैं, okay? What we are also trying to tell you is when you are taking any kind as a teacher pedagogy, if I know I have 45 minutes, I take 2 minutes for my counter check. Okay, I will not plan so much because I know I have a page to do that will take me 25 minutes to do. Okay, so you have to see that yourself. So I'm not there in your planning. I'm trying to tell you because that is why I'm questioning. Is it a recap? Is it an assessment? I'm questioning because I want to understand your instructional time. Right? Yes.
Then day 5 we have sorting and classification. In the discovery corner, the same day we get the science exploration kit.
Sorting and classification of what?
Of sentence flows. We have integrated it with EVS. In EVS, the same day we are doing the experiment. They just experiment, they'll observe, they'll record their observations in maths class.
Okay.
The pictogram will be there and they will put a tick and then we make the pictograph in the maths class.
Okay, wonderful. I think let's give them a big round of applause. So your pictograph is done beautifully. What that is experiential learning, so they've done an experiment there.
Creating a pictograph is not a very good idea here. Okay, mathematically it doesn't show much of a meaning. I think the sorting is more than it is finished.
Okay, so fine. We've done that. What floors? What things? Because
So automatically
cross check हो जाएगा ना. Okay, मतलब sync हो जाएगा. क्या चीज़ float हो जाएगी. But this is okay. But this is okay. So because now let's understand. If you have to make a pictograph, then you would have written how many objects had floated and how many objects could not float and were sinking. Then in that case, float and sink में आपको वो सारे float वाले objects एक साथ एक line में paste करने थे और sink वाले एक साथ. Okay, this is not for solver. That man clearly correctly pointed out. Okay, with this, we come to the end.
Which is a special point of view. And then land is also which is something very out of the box you must be thought of. You want to share something else. We can give you 2 minutes to share. EBS, it's not.
We have planned a role play of fire to cruise vendors to make them aware of safety measures and the people. Like we have made a pirate cap. So we have made kids will enjoy the role play. And then we have various rides and we have prompt questions and provocations and areas. The pictures and videos are there. And then we have sorting of the objects chiefly using the previous knowledge, like they will be putting because we will be going to see on the blackboard. We of these crowds, then we have land in the water, and then we will be putting the magnetic cutouts which we already have in the kit, and then we will the mode of transport. That will be an assessment. And yeah, individual.
If it is an assessment and it's a whole class assessment, what will you keep in mind? Because each child should have enough material, one, and that classification you are doing. अगर वो एक देख लिया तो अगर उसने उसी का copy करके लगा दिया तो would that be a correct?
They are putting up these in a hole, cut out. Light picks up and puts it under the light.
खत्म हो गया. मैं ये समझने की कोशिश करूँगी 25 बच्चे हैं. आपने individual है तो क्या सिर्फ question देना था कि individual activity और individual group activity. आपने सिर्फ individual activity, right? From that point of view, एक बच्चा आपके साथ है तो आपके पास इतना material है. That was my only.
Shapes to make the marker free. They give it a group activity and it says each in the last 20 minutes or 10 minutes when it's the dispersal time. They can use the blocks to make the marker free. They will be using the blocks to make the light house. They will be using the blocks to make the submarine or something shapes.
You can talk about all that.
Yes, we have mentioned it.
Okay, see one more thing. So now they had used, they said we will keep what materials? Cubes, blocks, that's it?
Blocks, that we will be using
Shapes, okay. Yeah. They said we will keep shapes.
And then we will be using the eye mask and they can do the role play of the whole thing like I am coming to hijack your
And this you want to do when?
last week.
Okay. So one, whenever you are doing certain kind of this kind of an activity, you have to be very, very clear yourself. Okay, because understanding through shapes की ये वाला light post है, ये shape है, it's not going to be very easy. Maybe they can join linking or they can make a shape which is that is it. But then you have to make it in a group. Then you have to have presentation time. तो तुम्हारे पास आराम से how much time do you think you would need to do this with a role play also? So when you are doing an activity, please see the instructional time and the usage और वो तो last में करोगे when they are about to go home. So think about it, right? Yes. Enjoy the content, get role plays, they always enjoy, but see how much and what content and then plan your work. Okay, so planning is very, very important. And thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause. I think Coach Kiran did a wonderful job and we got a lot of insights. Thank you so much. It was a really lovely experience. Thank you so much. So we just wanted you to check on, see, we have Montessori lab in all schools. Okay. How to bring Montessori lab equipment sometimes to your classrooms and make learning better. I want you to tell that there was a Mont lab teacher out here. Yeah. You'll have to explain. Okay, I'm also listening and explaining.
It's a very simple activity. If you are doing the recap of any sound, suppose we are doing the recap of letter S. So मेरे पास cube है छोटा सा, उसको मैंने तीन साइड पर S लिखा and on the other three side I have written letter A. So the child has to roll the dice, जो भी sound आएगा. If you are doing sir, अगर उसका sir sound आया है, then he or she has to tell an object. The name of the object that starts with the sound और उसको flip that. Or same activity we can do.
I want you to tell the purpose that they will achieve with this.
You know, recap, we are going to recap.
With your Montessori outcome.
Ma'am, hand on the very, but go.
This I want to understand.
Ma'am, if I
Especially
want
when you're doing something. Bhavna ma'am, you should explain about your pencil grades. That is why I asked you. So see how a Montessori lab teacher has been inquisitive enough to find what is happening into the classroom and integrating that in her Montessori lab class with the Montessori concept. The Montessori concept was to build pencil grade. It was not to build English lessons. But she integrated the English lessons into her Montessori understanding. So now, this is where I'm telling you how scaffolding and interdisciplinary learning happens.
And this is what you can do only in departmental meetings. When you are sitting together,
Trashing out with all those people. So when you are doing your departmental meeting, have your tech teacher there, have your Montessori teacher there, have your this and discuss so that in case they can think out of the box, they can plan some slides, they can do
She knows our syllabus and our
wonderful. What got
Whenever we are doing the recap of the sounds, so
in your house, this is not Montessori.
No, this is not.
no, this we do in our classroom.
But taken by the Montessori, now you have to understand what we have built is they have Montessori equipment and different. Okay? What they have incorporated is the teacher who has used activity-based learning along with it. Okay, so she has used art and craft and puzzles and other things which is developing cognitive skills. And she has taken those skills and linked it, integrated with also making, and especially it becomes very, very helpful to children who have learning gaps, especially those who have learning difficulties. Okay, they love sensorial experience. They love things, so they will be able to use this and put their thinking skills would be more clearer. There was a teacher here when I was at Saket. She worked better, children worked better in Montessori lab than they would do in the classroom. The child picked up all mathematical concepts from the Montessori lab and the activity room. So when you have Montessori and activity classes clubs, you can do wonders.
And
That's the
one
case.
more Okay, thank you so much. It's been a great learning experience for all of us, including me or it's been a great time. We had a lovely time discussing whatever you have brought it into the platter, and we might have, told you that this can be done this way. Don't take it personally. It's just a very, very professional discussion. Okay, I am sure that you are going to carry out whatever instructions or whatever changes have been suggested. You may like to bring it and then again share the edited lesson plan. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Saket team, for hosting us. And thanks to all the three teams who have been kind enough to present over here. They are Saket, Vishwihar, and G for this. Thanks a lot.
End कर दो. End कर दो. End करो. End करो.